All right. Hello, good evening. Welcome to another live episode of the O&G Strike Zone. Bryan Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, and Marcus Green. That is us. Good to be on with everybody. Guys, I love the coordination. Nice shirts you got on there. There's some nice shirts. Let me see. Everybody put your shirts up. Let me see what y'all looking like. Oh, look at that. Got the green. I see the black. Got the orange. Yeah, look at that. Champions. You see, we come color coordinated. Our shirts came in. Shout out to Real Word Apparel for putting together the SWAC baseball championship shirts. So had to get those. Had to represent. Had to support our baseball program. So shout out for making that happen. How you guys doing tonight?
Feeling like a champion, man. We're doing great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Still feeling like a champion. Good stuff.
Still feeling like a champion, man. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I know. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Rattler Nation. Good evening, HBCU Nation. However you are watching us, of course, we are the show that talks primarily about FAMU athletics, all things surrounding FAMU sports and culture. We are a part of the Black College Sports Network on the Jericho Broadcast Network. So we are on the JBN YouTube page at MyJBN Online, or you could be watching us on our own O&G Strike Zone page on YouTube. Of course, the Facebook channel, the O&G Strike Zone on Facebook, or the Black College Sports Network on Facebook. Hello to everybody on X who's watching us wherever you are, and hello to Instagram Live, all of that. You all should be following at O&G Strike Zone. And, you know, if you're a multi-social media person, you know, make sure you're following us at O&G Strike Zone, Facebook, Twitter, or X, Instagram, YouTube, you know, all of those things. So we appreciate everybody jumping in. You can always donate to the show right there at the bottom. You can drop a penny in the bucket. The Cash App, MyJBN, MyBCSN, that's where you can find it. Or you could choose to hit that Square app, that QR code will take you to our Square app. You could always donate. And what's even better is you could join the JBN YouTube channel. Be a supporter of Black College Sports, all of the shows that appear on the Black College Sports Network. Well, we got a good show lined up for you today. We got a lot of things to talk about. Kind of an update on spring sports. And then coming up later in the bottom of hour one, we're going to talk to a pair of FAMU football players who are taking a missions trip out of the country. Jenkins and Lamar Clark are going to be joining us. Shout out to Gerald Thomas for putting the story out there. What was about 3 weeks ago, guys, when that story dropped? 2-3 weeks ago.
I'm guessing.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk to those guys, get an update, and hear about their fundraising efforts and where they're going, what they are doing, how they got involved. You know, don't talk to a pair of rattlers. Always good to talk to our student athletes, our champions, two members of our SWAC and HBCU. SWAC Celebration Bowl and HBCU National Championship team. So we want to make sure to show those two brothers some love. And then coming up at the hour two, Coach Jeremiah McCollom. Just a couple years ago, he was graduating from FAMU, and now he's one of the youngest assistant coaches, part of the assistant coaching staff for our baseball program, working with the pitchers. Jeremiah was a pitcher when he was at FAM, won a MEAC title, of course. So looking forward to talking to him. And Marcus is going to do some recruiting as well in hour 2. We got a lot of recruiting news. I know people have been itching for the recruiting news. So Marcus is geared up and ready to go. All right, fellas. All right. Everybody good. Let's see if we can go ahead and do the roll call, because we like to shout out the people who are jumping in on the stream. Yes, go ahead and hit that thumbs up and the like button wherever you're watching the show, as we can do that. Jimmy Mack, first one in the building. Happy Hump Day, everybody. So we say shout out to Jimmy Mack. Thanks for coming in. First in.
What's up, J Mac?
Bull jumps in.
Bull.
Good to see Bull, not a fan of the portal, huh? Not a fan of the portal. Yeah, it's different. Marcus will give us some updates, and we'll talk about the portal and the comings and goings of some student athletes. How many more days left for the portal, guys?
I think to May 1st.
End of the month. Yeah.
End of the month. Yep. Time is ticking.
What
And there's a bombshell.
Tuesday,
There was a bombshell that came out today too.
Uh-oh.
Well,
Marcus
not for
got a
FAMU
bombshell.
related, but just for the transfer.
Is that NCAA news about something being effective immediately? I read that. We'll talk about that coming up a little bit later. Hey, Meredith, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for checking in.
Hey, Meredith.
Marcus, good to see you, Marcus. Checking in from Middle Georgia. Good to see you, Marcus.
Macon,
Georgia, right. Mr. Campbell checking in. Good to see you.
What's up, Mr. Campbell?
Love that segment with you dropping in.
Hey, get Mr. Ford right, Mr. Campbell. That's what I'm talking about. Represent, baby.
Marcus got some thoughts on that a little bit later in the show, boy. I tell you what, that was some funny That's all I'm gonna say. That was some good stuff, man. That was good. That was gold. So appreciate that. Always good to hear some realistic, intelligent conversation on some of them channels. Demetra Offer, good to see you, Demetra.
Hey,
How you doing? Melissa Wilson checking in. Good to see you, Melissa. Mary 305 coming
What's up,
in.
Mary?
Good to see you, Mary. Good to see you. Chuck Hunt on Facebook checking in from where?
Monroe, Louisiana.
All right. Good to see you, Chuck. Thanks for checking in. Good to see you. Tamara T checking in. Good to see you, Tamara. Yeah. I don't know anymore. I don't know if we can say that anymore. I don't know. Might be some movement there.
Oh, she done flipped it up on us?
I don't think she's in North Kakalaki anymore. I don't think so.
Let her brother know.
Exactly. Marvin Allen represent Duval. AD Drew checking in.
What's up, Drew?
AD, he must have just seen the intro. Because I don't know. Did he use that intro when he was hosting?
Man, he used everything. Old stuff, new stuff, bumpers,
remixing stuff. I got you.
We love you, man. Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Birthday boy. Thank you.
Will Davis, good to see you. Thanks for the reminder. Everybody hit that thumbs up or the like button wherever you are. Good to see you. Good to see you. Kenya, good to see Kenya Sykes checking in.
What's up, Kenya?
Yeah, good to see a lot of people. Shako checking in. Good to see you as well. Little Baby 245 checking in.
Panama City.
Emmett Jones, good evening.
Salute.
We got the brothers from Swacking a Fool. I don't know if that's
we're swacking a fool. We're swacking a fool.
A great podcast. We must be swag. We must be swag. We getting swag folks coming in now. That's great. Good stuff. We must be swag. Alice McCullum from West Palm Beach checking in. Good to see you, Alice. Thanks for checking in. Gail Butler Hinton from Cleveland.
Tallahassee, Florida.
And while we have Gail here, I have to mention Gail was the winner of our March Madness contest. I think that was the weekend I was out when the results came out. But So and we didn't get a chance to mention it last week, but Gail, congratulations on winning the contest. I'll be in touch with you about taking care of you there. I think she I know she had UConn to win with chalk. She went chalk, and I think she went chalk in a lot of places. So I actually finished third. I was actually surprised. I had a bad start, but I came out and finished in third. I was actually kind of impressed because I was in the bottom of the barrel after the round one. So, but anyway, congratulations, Gail. Samuel Gilbert checking in. Good to see you. Yes,
up,
yes.
Sam?
Yeah. Hopefully you guys got your shirts. If you ordered the baseball SWAC championship shirts, hopefully you guys got your shirts. As Mr. Campbell said, yeah, you had to do some rattling straightening. Exactly. And, good stuff.
You did
Good
that.
stuff. Yes, there it is. Breaking news. Tamara T. Today, first day back in Tally. I told you.
See back in the hood. All right, that's what I'm talking about. We got to link up, Tamara.
Yes. And I have to reach out. I'm bad. I know she's in a great position at the university, and I think be some great synergy opportunities there for us. So we definitely gotta catch up. Good stuff. Congratulations, Tamara. Welcome back. Welcome back to Tally. Francis McQueen checking in from Gainesville. Good to see you. Thank you for checking in.
What's up, Francis?
Let's see. Ashley C.
What's up, Ash?
The Fang Exchange already making moves. If y'all haven't been noticing, already making some movements. So we'll see what else is out there. So good stuff. Drew said you're wrong for that. Okay, you're wrong. See you.
Don't judge me.
Don't judge me.
He's still working on me.
He's still working. Exactly. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get right into it with our lead story. Look, we're going to start with the tennis. Got to start with the tennis tournament. We got to the championship game after taking out Alabama A&M, I think 4-1 in the semis. We advanced to the championship on Sunday against Alabama State. Of course, if you paid attention on the other side of the bracket, there were three teams who were co-regular season champions. We were the 1 seed by virtue of tiebreakers. Alabama State and Jackson State were the other co-champs, and they had to play each other in the semis. Alabama State won that game, and so that's who we ended up having to face off with. And I tell you, man, it took every match for them to get us in that game, in that contest. I think we started out on top at first, winning the doubles.
Got the doubles.
We swept the doubles to go up 1-0. And then the next three, let me see. So just in case you're not familiar with how it works from there, the singles, you basically have 6 matches for the singles. And, obviously the first, so let me back up. So in doubles, you essentially have 3 doubles matches. The school that wins 2 of the 3 gets the point for doubles. We did that. Okay. Then that means the next six matches, essentially all the young ladies who are part of the doubles, they all play singles now. And so the first team to get 4 points. So for us, we technically only needed 3 ladies to win to get that point. Of course, Alabama State needed to win 4.
We needed 3 ladies to win to get 3 points to get us to a total of 4.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. Right. I think that's what I was trying to get. Yeah, you're right. I said that wrong. Okay. So in the singles competition, we got wins from Rebecca Gaines in the 1 spot, and we got wins from Reagan Harris in the sixth spot. Of course, both of those were 3-set wins. Um, it essentially came down to the last match, which was the number 2 court. That was Sarah Rakim, who was last year's Player of the Year, going up against a young lady from Alabama State. Um, and it went basically down to the last set. I'm not quite the way based on how I don't know who won the first and who won the second, but it came down to the third set. And if you were following along on our social media feed or on athletics, it was like, you know, that meme of Kermit, like just kind of that's what it was like, trying to follow along with the updates.
Do that again.
I know I won't. I won't. It was a bad look. It was bad. I don't know what I should have just had the meme ready. But yeah. So anyway, that's what it came down to in the last set. Unfortunately, I think Sarah might have been working through a little bit of an injury.
Yeah, they took an injury timeout.
They took it. We read that, took an injury timeout. She ended up losing that last set 6-2. And so that ended up being the deciding match, because at that point it was 3-3. 3 points for us, 3 points for them. Either Sarah was going to win or the other young lady from Alabama State. And I don't know about you. I was a little frustrated with the ability to see it, the ability to follow along with it, you know. And I try to stay off of the bash the SWAC bandwagon that a lot of people jump on when it comes to coverage of events. But I felt this one. I don't know. Maybe it's because it was our school, obviously. But I just feel like we've got to get to a place where these type of things are streamed. We didn't have to have audio commentary, as much as nice as that would have been. But man, it would have been nice to be able to watch.
I disagree. I
Okay.
disagree.
Okay.
If we're gonna be a legitimate Division One program, our championship match in every sport has to be available, whether it's streaming or not, and it needs to have commentators. That's the way a professional run organization does. So I'm not gonna split no T's on this one now. The SWAC has to do better when it comes to their championship programs. We need to have a platform. We need to have sponsors because we need it. There's plenty of different platforms that are looking for content. And so, you know, there's no reason for us not to have it. All we got to do is put some effort into it. So, yeah, that was frustrating because I'm at the baseball game. And, of course, we had bad weather. So the game didn't start when it was supposed to start. And we were waiting on tweaks and stuff because there's no other way to know what's going on.
Right.
That's not the way it should be done. And I'm the only one. People at a baseball game sitting around me asking me, "Hey, what's the score? What's going on?" And we all on our phones trying to find out information. So we just got to do better. That's not a bad thing saying that. That's facts.
Yeah.
I agree. And I guess it's also kind of hit and miss. And I don't know if it depends on the venue or which shouldn't be an excuse. But if I remember either last year or 2 years ago, I thought bowling, the SWAC bowling championship was on YouTube or something like that.
I think
Of
you're
course,
right. Yep.
of course, football. Baseball, I think, was on the YouTube channel last year. I can't remember exactly, but I think I remember seeing it on YouTube. But so, and I don't know what the facility, softball, and I don't know what the facility in New Orleans, what its capabilities are. But I agree with you, Kelvin, that the championships, even either to the loyal fans, cost depend if it can be done in a cost-effective manner. And I don't know what the cost is for all those type things, but if it can be done in a cost-effective manner in a facility that can accommodate it, if the facility like the New Orleans Tennis Center where it was being held can accommodate streaming, if they have the communication, electrical connectivity, all that other stuff, you should do it because it'll help build up more of a fan base beyond the typical 2 or 3 revenue generating sports.
Not only that, Marcus, what I will also say is that what I do know, we have a relationship with HBCU Go. We have a relationship with
Mhm.
ESPN,
Mhm.
all platforms. So we have some access to media, and then we also have the YouTube channel. Doesn't the Swag have like its own
Slack
channel?
Digital Network. Yep.
So we have platforms.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Again, it's just a matter of making it a priority and seeing ourselves the value in that. And then also our ladies and our coaches, they deserve that platform on a chat at a championship level, right? They don't put in the work, they don't play the long grinding season. They deserve to be, have their friends, their family be able to see them at work, those who can't travel. So yeah, it's just many reasons why it makes sense and why it should happen. And hopefully it will happen. And I'm definitely gonna bring it up at SWAC Media Days.
Yeah. Hey, that would be a great time to do that. Part of the all tournament team, we had a couple of rattlers a part of that. Rebecca Gaines, who I believe she was no. Well, okay. So on the all tournament team this year was Rebecca Gaines and Reagan Harris, and I believe it was Reagan who was the most outstanding player last year. So consecutive years for our Lady Rattlers. You know, this is the second year. I mean, this team is kind of just now hitting their maturity, where a team last year made up of primarily freshmen and sophomores are now sophomores and juniors. 2 consecutive years in the SWAC championship game. We've seen them compete a little bit better in the non-conference games. I'm looking forward to next year. I think next year should be I mean, we only lose one senior off this squad. So you talk about being deeply experienced next year. Next year feels like that breakthrough opportunity where we should really be winning some of those non-conference games. Wouldn't you think that's, I mean, we know what we can do in SWAC. And I don't think Alabama State and Jackson State have always had good programs, but I really think what this team does and what Coach Houston does to get these ladies to lock in and win these non-conference ones will be really important to watch. Don't you agree with that?
I do. It's gonna come down to the work, and I wonder what kind of strength and conditioning regimen we're gonna have, because I think to get to that little bit higher level, next level, I think it's going to require a little more training table stuff, as well as working on their craft in terms of their game and of tennis. But I like to see development, a little more development within their fitness and endurance and muscle and so forth for just like you do with other sports. You see your freshman body shouldn't look like your junior senior body. Yeah.
Unless you're not an athlete, then it's kind of then it becomes the opposite, right? Then it becomes the opposite. You're like, ooh, I
Oh.
wish I had my freshman body, If
Yeah.
you know, right? Well, that I don't see anything else on the schedule for the season, so that sort of concludes the season. Final record ends up being 10-9. Of course, having gone 8-1 in conference play. Um, so congratulations to Coach Nikki and the ladies on a great season. Second consecutive regular season title, making it to the championship for the second consecutive year.
Hmm.
And hey, setting the bar. Now, it's almost like you got something that you have a little bit of hunger going into next year. You lost that championship, and so guess what? Going into next year, you're gonna be a little hungrier through the work next year. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, golf isn't going to be in the same position too. They came up
Yes.
just short, got off to not such a great start, and then had a great finish, and
Right.
finished second place again. So
Yeah, they did a great job on the comeback, and I don't know what the I would love to. I haven't seen any kind of Commissioner's Cup status or
Somebody posted it online. I saw it. They took a snapshot. I don't know. I'm assuming it was recent, but we were like in third or fourth place.
If you're now, who was at the top though?
probably Alabama
I think
State.
Prairie View. I think Prairie View was based on that clip. I don't know who posted it. I think Prairie View was number one. I want to say Prairie View, Texas Southern, Jackson State, and Alabama all were in the mix. I can't remember the top five, but it was somewhere
men or women though.
I think that might have been the summary from last year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll reach out. I know there's some people in one of our chat channels who are heavy SWAC, and I know they know how that is recorded and counted, and maybe we can unofficially, or hell, I could reach out. I know a couple people at the SWAC. Maybe I can reach out and kind of find out exactly what the updates are. I got to imagine, you getting points for regular seasons, championships, making it to the finals, obviously winning. All those points add up. So I got a feeling we got to be kind of in the top three. If I had to guess, I would imagine we're in the top three. I'd be shocked if we weren't.
On the women's side.
Definitely on the women's side, and I wonder if overall, you know what I'm saying, because that plays into it when you look at overall, because of the fact that
I think they do a women's side and a men's side, if I'm not mistaken.
They do both,
right.
And then they do one combined. So there's one combined with all the sports programs, and then there is a men and a women's. Yeah. So, okay. Well, let's get ready to take our first break. Coming up on the other side, we're going to talk to a pair of FAMU football players, Naron Jenkins and Lamar Clark, two young men who are about to take a missions trip. So we're going to talk to them about how their spring season went, how last season went, but then also the impact of what they are about to venture off to do in Buenos Aires, Argentina, I believe is where they are heading. So we'll talk to those two brothers here coming up in just a moment. So you guys stay with us. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Bryan, Fulford, Marcus, Green, Kelvin, Rozier here, and pleased to have joining us right now is a pair of our guys, a pair of FAMU football players joining us. You can see Lamar Clark, Naron Jenkins. Gentlemen, welcome to the ONG Strike Zone. How you doing tonight?
Good. Thank you for having us.
Doing great. Thank you for having us.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, first, why don't we start with a little bit of an introduction where you kind of introduce yourself, tell us where you're from, how many years you've been at FAM. I think both of you in the same class, but and then the position you play. We'll start with Lamar and then go to Naron.
All right. So hi everyone. My name is Lamar Clark. I'm from Panama City, Florida. I'm a second year. I'm a true sophomore, and I play nickel.
Hello, everybody. I'm Naron Jenkins, number 45, a linebacker from Alachua, Florida. And I've only been here for 2 years, so I'm a true sophomore as well.
Okay. So Lamar coming from, you said Pensacola, right?
Panama City.
Panama City. I'm sorry. I knew it was a P, and I knew it was in the Panhandle. I'm just a little too far west. Tell us a little bit about what attracted you to FAMU, and maybe if you care to share other choices, what it came down to when you chose FAMU.
So I was getting recruited pretty heavy around my sophomore year, going into my junior year, and then I ended up having a labrum surgery my junior spring going into my senior year. So around that time, my recruitment really fell off once a lot of them coaches found out what had happened. So a lot of my official visits and a lot of my visits at camps kind of fell off. So going into my senior year, I didn't really have too much, a couple interests, but nothing, especially with the transporter at that time, it's kind of killing recruitment for my class. So toward my senior year, I started getting in contact with Coach Rispers, which used to be the old recruiting coordinator over here at FAMU, which at Colorado now. And he was contacting me because I used to play 7-on-7 with him my sophomore year in the record breakers over here in Tallahassee. So we had a good connection, and we actually ended up playing him my senior year. We played Gaston County because he was over there coaching at Gaston County. And towards the end of my senior year, really had no idea what was going to happen. And then he ended up calling me and said they had a walk-on spot. So I ended up walking on to FAMU my freshman year. So that's really what attracted me over here. So, yeah.
Good deal. And look at that. 2 years later, you got some jewelry. You got it pays off.
Yes,
and
yes,
good
sir.
times.
Yes,
Naron, tell us about your story. How you came to FAMU, and maybe some of your other opportunities that you had coming out of high school.
Well, actually, me and Lamar have pretty much similar stories. I actually, I got recruited a little bit, sophomore year, had really good film. And actually, I played running back in high school until my senior season. And so freshman and sophomore year, I played running back. Junior year, I played a little bit of linebacker, but I wasn't really playing it like that. I was just playing mostly running back. And so I played linebacker and was able to be on a Final Four team my senior year. But nobody was calling. I had one Division II offer to Alum University. But, I'm a mama's boy, and so I didn't want to go that far away from home. And so like a week before signing day, I got a call from Coach Ryan Smith, and he offered me a walk-on spot as well. And so I decided to take that and work. And he said, I would work hard in order to try to achieve to get my scholarship.
All right. Kelvin, I'll start with you, and then we'll go to Marcus.
So I want y'all guys to kind of talk about how y'all got involved with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and so forth. Did y'all do it in high school and then come to university? And then talk about this trip you all will be taking at coming up. So start with Lamar. Start with how you got involved, then we'll go to Neyron.
Yes, sir. So in high school, I was part of the FCA council. My freshman through senior year, actually, ended up being the head guy for FCA council for our school. So I've been involved, for a couple of years now. And definitely in high school, it wasn't as influential. So being able to grow into what it is now and going across the country is very huge. We had small meetings in the morning. We did prayer circles around the school. So it was basically around the school. We did a little bit around the community, but we weren't able to reach too much people. So when I got to FAMU, me and Neyron, they had sent a message about in our team group chat. They sent a message about it was Charlie Ward was speaking at a church over here, and we were they need people to volunteer, and so we signed up and we went and listened to Charlie Ward speak. And at that time, after Charlie Ward speaking, we met a man by the name of Ryan Sprague. He runs the FCA, kind of over all three called major colleges in Tallahassee, and he told us about the opportunity of being an FCA camp leader in the camp over the summer over in Live Oak, Florida. And so we went over there and we did a camp over there and we loved it. It was awesome. We met some great people and we were able to impact a lot of the youth, being in that spot, being a kid and listening to the older people come in, other athletes come in and speak. It was really awesome and surreal to be able to, reach out to the high schoolers and middle schoolers of Tallahassee. And so, I think with this trip, we're going out there to Buenos Aires and we're going to use our ministry as well. And what we've been learning through FCA to minister to those kids across the country. And we're also going to use, our athletic abilities and our knowledge of sports to also pour out into them. And because I know they're really eager to learn some American football. So, but yeah, that's basically it.
Okay. What about you, Neyron?
Well, I think Lamar kind of read my mind on everything I was going to say, but I've been involved with FCA, same amount as Lamar. I've been involved with FCA since high school. I was always around it. We had those meetings in the mornings. Most of the people came for donuts pretty much in the mornings. They weren't really coming for what we had to say. But like Lamar said, when we got to college, it felt like we were reaching more people, and there was more people that were dedicated and more people that were actually, understanding where we're coming from. And I think it's a great segue into, that mediation between sports and, Christ and, our relationship with Christ. And so I think that definitely helped us. And like he mentioned too, the FCA camp, the leadership camp that we went to was definitely life transforming. I know, for me, and I know Lamar had said the same thing because it was just an amazing experience. Met some really nice people. And also, this allowed us to be able to use our athletic ability as well as our, our relationship with Christ in order to go on this trip and to try to help not only the people in Tallahassee or not only the people in the state of Florida, but also people across the world.
Good stuff. Right. Marcus, go ahead.
Well, good evening, gentlemen, and thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for sharing your venture and your testimonies. I guess my question is, in terms of preparation for this trip, what things or what activities or actions have you guys done as it relates to perhaps encountering any language barrier, any study that you've done, or the game plan that you have for when you go on this trip?
Yeah, so basically my game plan has been praying about everything, just this trip in general. When this opportunity was given to me and Neyron, I definitely had prayed and, prayed that if this was really where God wanted me to work at, that I know he would put me in this place. So just praying over what I can bring to the table and what I can, present over there. Being confident in how I speak and how I carry myself. And I'm part Spanish. My mom's from Madrid, Spain. So, I have a little leverage when it comes to the language barrier. So, definitely going to be a testimony for my Spanish, but definitely just been praying. And, from the experience we have from the camp, I definitely feel, like these kids are so eager to learn about Christ that they honestly make it so easy because, sometimes, there are people that, have a wall up, but these kids are so eager to really love and learn about Christ. And it's really just a blessing.
Fortunately for me, I was not born in a bilingual household. But I think that, like going off what Lamar said, that, we've been really just praying about the whole situation, that different countries have different laws, different type of, there's dangerous people, different things like that. But I think that, in our prayer, we have found, that, God is going to take us there, and he's also going to bring us back safely, and he's going to, help us through it, and he's going to help us to deliver the message that he has for us, deliver to them however he would like for them to receive it. And so I think that was the main thing for us. It's just, our constant communication with Christ. And, it was also, the fundraising for us. We prayed through the fundraising and allowed, God to take advantage of that. And so as soon as he did that, the money started flowing way more than what we expect. So I just think that, prayer is definitely, like Lamar said, is that it was the key to what we've been trying to do.
Amen.
Hey, speaking of the fundraising efforts, and of course, for anyone who's not familiar, Lamar and Nayron are going to Argentina May 4th through the 11th. The fundraising efforts I saw, so just a week ago, obviously, is when Gerald Thomas wrote the article that appeared in the Tallahassee Democrat. But you guys had kind of put out the feelers maybe a couple of weeks prior to that. And, I know when we saw it, I was like, oh, man, I felt bad, because it was like, man, we missed it. Because, there's a lot of things going on. But whenever our student athletes are, looking for help or support, we try to put that out there as much as possible. And so when I was talking to you online, Nayron, you had told us that you guys met your goal. How did that article, did it really kind of drive you over the number? You mentioned kind of exceeding the goal. Talk a little bit about the impact of that article and maybe, the blessings that kind of came from out of that.
Yes, sir. So, I recently met my goal, and I think Lamar is close to his goal as well. And so, but Gerald Thomas, he's a great guy. He's always around the football program, and he's always, talking to us and communicating with us. And so he reached out to me actually and said, hey, I can help you out. I can get your name out there. I can get this out there to the people. And right after that, it just skyrocketed. The numbers kept going in, and numbers kept going up. And so I just thank Gerald Thomas. I thank God as well, but I just thank Gerald Thomas for, the platform, allowing us to put it out there, allowing us to speak. And also I thank, the alumni, the FAMU alumni are always great with trying to support us. And I really appreciate you guys for that. And, that I know that anytime we need anything, anytime we ask for something, you guys try your best to do that. So I really do appreciate that.
Lamar, where are you at in yours? So I didn't know. It sounds like the efforts are separate or together. Have you reached your goal? If not, this is a great opportunity to let us know, how, or maybe give us a link in the chat so that we can push that out and help you reach that goal.
Yes, so I'm around $800 short. So I have about $800 more dollars to hit $2,500. But after Nayron was able to release that article, you put him in front of a camera, magic gonna happen. So he definitely he's blessed with the ability to, talk, so he definitely has helped me out greatly, doing that article. But, money after that started definitely pouring in. The blessings definitely started pouring in. So, but I'm continuing to pray for those efforts as we approach this trip.
Well, you got to make sure before you log off that you put that link in the chat, or if you put it in the chat, I'll make sure that it gets into our chat group. So I mean, whether it be our YouTube, our Facebook, I'll make sure that gets out. We'll make sure to retweet it after the show, and we're gonna see if Rattler Nation comes through. So I mean, we're gonna see if we can get you to that 800 by the end of the week at the latest. So every little bit helps, and I know we want these two young men to be able to go to Argentina and complete this mission trip, and so we'll definitely make sure to do that. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Go ahead, Kelvin. What else you got for the fellas?
Let me just say, it's important to me as a FAMU alumni, and I know I'm not just speaking for myself, I'm speaking for others, that we're interested in you guys, not just as athletes, but as people.
Mhm.
And that's why we do what we do. That's why we have this platform that we have. That's why we invited you all on to tell your own stories. It's really important that you all know that, and your teammates. Rally Nation, we here for you all. We give and we go to bat for you. You important to us. Number one. So yeah, make sure you give us a link or where how we can support, because I see some people in the chats already asking Lamar, and we gonna get you there, buddy. You ain't got to worry about that.
Yes, sir.
Now, having said that, I want to know about two things from both of you. I want you to describe your experience of the championship season from beginning to end. What was it like, culminating with the Celebration Bowl championship win? And then I want to know how spring has gone for you guys, and some highlights and what you're looking forward to the new season. So this time I want Nayron to start it off.
So I mean, I lost words. Last season was just dream come true. As a boy growing up playing football, you always dream of the big stage, and so started off well, with a great season game against Jackson State Classic, and so Coach Simmons preached to us, all spring that the only people that is we players, and so we the only people that can stop us. So we got together and figured out that we were going to be a team. We're going to have there. So I think that once we got the ball, yes, we fell short. US. So once we got the ball rolling again after that, we were up. So I think it was just true. Growing up, you see the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, you see the Georgia Dome, and Madden, but you really get to see it in real life or play it, and so we got to plan it. And so we got there I think it was that Friday when we got to watch it before just go in there and do a walkthrough. I just kind of stood in the middle of the field like, whoa, we really here. And so I think that dream of championships and dream of getting rings and things like that. It was amazing, especially, I have my ring down since I got it. Every time I go home, make sure I check my case to make sure it's still there. So it was definitely a good experience.
Good stuff.
All right, Lamar.
Yes, sir. Kind of how Nayron touched out last spring. Last spring the standard was just set. We had Coach Simmons made it known that this team can go all the way, and we definitely believed it. We had a look in our eyes the whole spring, and we was hungry. Went out there, competed during the spring, had a great spring. Fall camp went amazing, and then Jackson State game, obviously, we went out there, handled business. The USF game, I actually unfortunately ended up having to get surgery after that game. I ended up messing up my shoulder again, so I ended up being out the rest of the season after that game. But witnessing the Celebration Bowl just from the sidelines was amazing for sure. Seeing how we fought every game, because some games, people didn't believe in us. They thought they didn't think the hype was real. And so seeing us, get it out the mud and be able to pull out those tough games, was just awesome, because, seeing the work that we had for the past 6-7 months pay off was definitely an amazing feeling. I'm definitely looking forward to this new season with Coach Cozy, and I definitely think we definitely can get a part 2 for sure.
Awesome. All right.
Did you? I know, Nayron, I don't know if it was my connection or maybe it was the Wi-Fi on yours got a little shaky. Did you happen to mention about the spring? Did you guys get a chance to talk about how the spring went for you guys?
Oh, no, I didn't mention. I forgot to mention that. But yes, thing went pretty smooth. I feel like we so what we had, we had a couple guys portals, so we were a little bit down depth. But I think the competition there, I think the attention to details there, and I think new coaches come in, the defenses and learning offenses I definitely, had a chance of being them, they want to be on a winning program as well. And so they want to keep the ball rolling with what we got. Trying to keep our celebration.
All right. Lamar, how about you? What's your evaluation? How you feel like you did this spring?
Yes, sir. So this spring, I'm about 6 months out of surgery. So this spring I was no contact. I was kind of working in with individual drills and everything, a little bit 7-on-7. But I feel like the spring definitely as a team went well overall for sure, especially with the major transition and we have with, a new head coach. I feel like we still have that hungry look in our eyes that we can go out there and perform. Like I heard you guys say against the non-conference teams, I definitely feel like we could definitely handle business against those non-conference teams and the conference teams. And I definitely think it was great overall. I'm very looking forward to fall camp and seeing the kind of roster that we'll have.
All right. Marcus, you want to get a last question in for Lamar and Nayron?
Yes, for Lamar, when's the deadline for all the monies that you need to have?
So our trip is going out the May 5th. I believe our deadline is going to be in here the next couple of days. I want to say a little bit, maybe right before April ends is going to be the deadline is going to be for this trip with the tickets and everything.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm working on that link right now.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. So just as a reminder for everybody, hang tight. Probably coming up out of the break, we'll give everybody the link to finish helping Lamar. He said he was about 800 or so short of where he needs to be with that goal. So we're gonna help him reach that goal here. We're gonna shoot for the end of the week. I know he said the end of the month, but we want him to get this by the end of the week so that little bit of worry can be off his plate. The blessings from the article. Shout out to GT3. I see he's in the chat room. Gerald Thomas is in the chat. So appreciate Gerald for doing the story and putting it out there so that not only these young men could have their story told, but it gave us an opportunity to talk to them as well and put you in front of more Rattlers and worldwide as well. So that way, hopefully, all of Rattler Nation's prayers will be with you. They take the trip again May 4th through the 11th to Buenos Aires, Argentina. And you saw that silent G. You saw how I did that, right? That good Spanish, right? I've been working.
I see it.
Got to make sure you roll those R's, Nayron. You got to make sure you roll the R's now.
I practice in the mirror.
All right. I'll give you a chance, the guys, to give a last shout out. Any thanks or any shout outs you want to give to Rattlers who are out there. I'll start with you, Nayron. Hopefully we got a good signal from you. Go ahead and give that shout out.
I just want to thank everybody for the support. I thank you guys for the opportunity to get on here, talk about our experiences. And, I just thank you. We look forward to y'all support during the season. And, always go Rattlers.
All right. How about you, Lamar?
I just want to thank the Rattler fan base, Rattler alumni. I definitely want to thank you guys for allowing us to get on this podcast today. And just want to thank everyone that's been able to make this trip happen as well. And, thank Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So.
Amen. Well, we're gonna look for you guys when you guys, maybe later in the summer, we're gonna look for you guys. Maybe, make sure, we're gonna go through the pictures and all the stuff, and we're gonna get a recap of your experience. So this is just part one of your appearance on the ONG. Part two is gonna be the recap of everything that you did out there. Okay, that's part two. We're gonna do that before camp, because once camp starts, Coach Cozy will be like, nah, but we're gonna try to catch y'all before camp starts so that we can get the recap. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
and I also want to thank Gerald. I just want to thank him for the art.
Yeah, for sure. Great. Thank you again. Good job, GT3, Gerald, and you guys. Many blessings. Safe travels to you. And again, be looking out, ladies and gentlemen, for that link. Lamar, we're going to put that out there here a little later in the show, and we're going to help him reach his goal by the end of the week. And so just stay tuned. We'll have that for you. again, ladies and gentlemen, Lamar Clark, Nayron Jenkins, heading out to Argentina with the FCA coming up here in the first week of May. So you guys keep them in your thoughts and prayers, and let's make sure we show some love and help support these guys as they go. Thank you guys. God bless. Be safe, and we'll talk to you soon. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right. We'll be back in just a minute, Rattlers. We're going to transition over to talking with assistant coach Jeremiah McCollom right on the other side of the break. You're watching ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
This is Bryan Fulford. A.B. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
I'm returning to Clinton Paris, and Tampa's my community. I grew up here, went to school here, and my wife and I make our home here. What makes Tampa special are its people. So when I represent someone injured in my community, it's personal. Call my office and speak to a real lawyer and not some referral service. I will fight the insurance companies to get the settlement that you deserve. At the law office of Clinton Paris, we take the pain out of being hurt.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
All right. I don't know what's going on with my computer screen. All right. Welcome back. I'm just all over the place. Welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Bryan, Marcus, Kelvin, and we're pleased to have on the show FAMU baseball assistant coach / alum, Jeremiah McCollom. Coach, how you doing, Coach? Welcome to the ONG. How you doing tonight?
I'm good. Thank you for the invite to the show, guys.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for coming on. Pleased to have you on. Of course, let's start with a little background for people who may not be familiar. Obviously, it wasn't that long ago when you were on the mound with the ball in your hand, and now you're in the dugout. Talk a little bit about your background and your time at FAMU and time with the baseball program, and now here you are as an assistant coach.
Yes, sir. Just as recent as 2022, and that's the year I graduated from the illustrious J School. I came to FAMU from Houston, Texas. I was heavily recruited by a bunch of Division I universities like Baylor and University of Houston. But when I took my visit here, Tallahassee and FAMU, I fell in love. It was everything I needed as a young man, everything I needed in a baseball career, everything just to make me who I am today. 4 years on the Hill, pitching for the Rattlers, won a conference title in 2019 in the MEAC. Came back. I was at Texas Southern last year as an assistant coach. And I figured I didn't look good in maroon, so I came back and wore the green and orange again. So, and you couldn't keep me long. Keep me. I love this place. I love FAMU and everything it has to offer.
Yeah, I was peeping a little bit of those photos of you in the maroon, and it just didn't go with everything else you had going on there in the timeline, Coach. But so we're glad you're back. We're glad you're back. You look good in orange and green. So,
yes, sir.
Talk a little. So now, when I was looking, you went to Texas Southern. You enrolled in the grad program, if I'm not mistaken, right? Sports management, I think it was. Were you
Yes, sir.
talk a little when you graduated? You mentioned being a part of the J School. Your career, did you think you would come back into coaching? What was sort of the plans? We all know our plans don't always finish the way we start coming out of college, but just talk a little about the transition over the last couple of years when you left and finding your way into coaching.
Right. So since I was a kid, even before I came to FAMU, I knew that sports is an industry that I wanted to go into. And coming here to FAMU and everything I experienced, the highs, the lows, everything, it steered me to a career to college athletics. And the primary reason why I went back to school to get my master's degree and be a coach is to be an athletic director one day. I see the potential HBCU have in regards to our student athletes, our community, everything that ties into a university and building up young people. That I want to be a part of that. I love everything about school, about college. I love what the doors and avenues it opens up for everybody. And so I always wanted to be a part of that.
Nice. Marcus, we'll lead it off. Let's let you go first there with Coach.
Yes, well, good evening, Coach. If you would please give us, I guess, the perspective now being on the other side of the whistle, if you will, from being a player and now being a coach, and also being a relatively young coach, given, especially with the COVID exception given to the baseball players. You may have some players that are the same age as you. Can you speak on that dynamic as well?
I'm not gonna lie, it's a weird dynamic because there's about 10 guys on the team who I played with. And so when I came back, it's weird. It's very weird. They don't call me Coach Jam, they just call me Jam. I like to think of our relationship as a big brother, little brother type thing. Of course, I'm going to coach them as hard as I can and maximize their potential, but also too, I'm there to be a person that they can lean their shoulder on, not just on the field, but off the field as well. Be a friend to them, be a big brother in a sense. It's weird though. I can tell you this, and it's even weirder because I played for Coach Shoup and now I coach under him. And so it was easy coming back in regards to working here and knowing the system and everything. And I believe in what we have in FAMU baseball, especially in Coach Shoup's vision. It's been proven too with 3 championships over 8 seasons. And so when I decided to come back, it was a no-brainer. And I love the position I am. Me being I think we went over the numbers yesterday. I'm actually the youngest pitching coach in Division I. So I know the power that I hold, especially as an African American in baseball. And so I just want to be able to positively affect these student athletes' lives and maximize their baseball careers as much as I can.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
Thank you.
Jam, you were not only a pitcher at FAMU, but you was a shutdown pitcher, right? You close and
yes, sir.
When you close, you close the door, man. Like you say, you won a championship. And so how do you think playing the position of being a pitcher at a high level and the success you have, how does that translate in terms of your coaching, one? And then I noticed that how you do your signals, your pitches and stuff. Talk about the strategy of game to game. How, I know you consult with Coach Shoup some, but how do you come up with your strategy on how you approaching, depending on who pitching for us and what team we playing? And I'm really interested to know why you decided to go with a more verbal system in terms of instead of the traditional, flashing the numbers, what have you.
So kind of leading into my answer with Marcus is that I love to be a friend to these guys. I want to be a guy that they lean on. I want to be a guy that they talk to, especially my staff. So that plays a part in how I strategize and how I coach those guys. I love the mental approach of baseball. Look, these are Division I pitchers. They're very capable and they're very talented. So it's a matter of getting them right in between their ears. And so baseball is a game that's played between years. It's a thinking man's game, and it has a lot of strategy and has a lot of a mental wear and tear on it. And so if you build up their mental, right, even if that's through struggle, when they experience that success and that positive reinforcement from myself through verbiage and through that just that mental positivity and things of that nature, success is inevitable. Success is inevitable, and so that's why we were looking at a 15-3 record right now. And that's why we're charging and going hard into the SWAC, and hopefully we're trying to repeat again in 2024.
Okay. Now, why do you call the pitches the way you do in terms of hollering it out versus signals?
It's just our system. It's nothing complex about it.
Okay.
The guys actually give me a lot of mess about it because you can hear me yelling on all the broadcasts, especially when we play Auburn. They can hear me saying 5, 1, 2, 1. They get a kick out of it. They get a kick out of it, but it also lightens their mood, and it's a pressure sport, especially being the pitcher. You control the game. And so just to be able to have that moment with them where we're locking eyes and I'm giving numbers, it kind of scales back the competition factor and makes them become the best person that they can be in the most relaxed state.
Okay. All right.
That's an interesting system, interesting approach. So let's kind of go through this team and this pitching staff. And so, obviously, correct me if anything I get wrong. Obviously, our Friday ace is Caleb Granger, who I saw he didn't have the greatest run the most recent Friday, but prior to that, I mean, he was dealing, and he still, in my opinion, is in the running for SWAC Pitcher of the Year. Talk a little bit about Caleb, if you would, and then maybe the rest of the weekend, the Saturday, Sunday starters, or how that's shaped over the course of this tournament or the conference season.
So first, Caleb is a great kid. I had the privilege to know him before I left from last year, and I had the opportunity to watch him pitch throughout last year, even from Texas Southern, and then of course his performance in the regionals against the University of Florida, where he went 7 innings, giving up 3 runs against the number 2 team in the country, I believe at the time. And so his development, seeing him and now being his coach, has been great. He's a astounding young man, an astounding pitcher too. He latches on to every word that I say. He's a leader. He's done everything that me and Coach Shoup and other staff members have asked him to do, and that's matriculated into his playing. And so hopefully he gets that award at the end of the year. I'm praying for it. Hopefully he can come out with it because he's definitely earned it. Concerning the other guys too, we have a lefty, Carson Kelly, a true freshman from Lincoln High School. He's really good. He's going to be really good in the future. Just building up our staff as much as I can. Grant Harrison, Cody Williams. We have a bunch of really good guys that just takes familiarity, just a new system they're in right now, a new chapter, and going into SWAC play, it's a different baseball than what we've been accustomed to. And so just getting affiliated with the competition the SWAC level has, our guys are going to be really good. And I tell them every single day, we're going to be really good. As long as we compete, we have fun. Most importantly, we're going to hopefully hoist a trophy in the near future.
And one more follow-up or one more question, because being that you've been over on the west side, right? Which if you pay it like we pay attention to the West Side, it's like it's bonanza over there. I mean, they're putting up football scores over on the West Side. Sometimes I just look over there and get a laugh. I don't even want to talk about it because it's just like, what is going on over there? It's like everyone's just hitting, and I don't know where the pitching is. So, but when being on the West Side and now being on the East Side of the SWAC, it's the pitching. We talked about it last year. The 3 of the 4 teams in the Final Four, all from the East. Talk a little bit about, do you still feel like the strength in terms of pitching when it comes to the tournament is in the East?
So the old theme in baseball, and this applies to old school baseball and baseball now, is that you go as far as your pitching goes. No, it doesn't matter how many sluggers you got. It doesn't matter how many runs get put on the board. You have to make your 27 outs. And so our pitching staff is the key to anything. That's at any level. That's at the SWAC. That's at the SEC. And so that's why my position is so pivotal. And that's why it's so crucial to develop a relationship with these guys and make them comfortable with you. I coach them hard. I have to, because it's that important. I would compare it similar to the quarterback in football. If you don't have a quarterback, you're really not going to go that far. And so pitching is the center of baseball. Regarding the East and the West, it's a competitive conference. A lot of people don't know that, especially it being a 12-team conference. Very competitive, very good athletes, very good coaches. But the formula that we have between the staff members of Coach Brett and Tucker, and of course Coach Shoop at the top, we have a great formula. We have a great thing going, and we believe in our guys from top to bottom.
Well said. Go ahead, Marcus.
Coach, I have a question for you, and I guess it may be using maybe a football or basketball type comparison, but with the advent, or shall I say the loosening of the reins with the transfer portal. And I've noticed, I guess, a lot of players that I know you were high school heavy this past recruiting season, at least the ones that signed in the early period and committed. But how prolific has the transfer portal, not just from junior colleges within the state of Florida, but in terms of players from Division I programs looking at FAMU as a viable alternative? Now, we've seen pretty much the wild, wild west when it comes to football and basketball. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous if you follow that now from a college standpoint. But to what degree have you seen something similar in baseball, or is it more conservative and there isn't a whole bunch of movement as we've seen in the comparative sense to football and basketball?
Well, Marcus, let me answer it this way. The transfer portal is so new, and it's very tough to navigate. I think there's a log jam right now in baseball and in all sports with it's just so much information and so many kids. But we try to do right. We love the high school kids because we're able to have them for 4 years, even if they leave. But a lot of our guys don't leave because they just love it so much and they believe in our coaching staff and in this program. It's very difficult to go through it, but we love the ability to build young men, and we love the ability to mold young guys, especially, and even guys who come in to build them our way and to build them to the point where they can maximize their baseball potential outside of just college in the professional ranks. As you can see, we had 2 transfers when Ty Hanchey, who was on the championship team last year, and Hunter Veets, who are both now playing professional baseball. Hunter Veets for the Chicago Cubs and Ty Hanchey for the San Francisco Giants, both transfers. And so we try to fit as much as we can into our system. We're not going to just go after a name because they're highly recruited by this university or that university. We recruit just strictly for FAMU and the best fit for them as a baseball player, but as a young man. We do have a heavy recruiting class in high school coming out. We have a bunch of local kids, especially from NFC and Leon. So we're really invested into building for the future and for long term as well. We don't want to have a situation where we just win 1 year and then 5 years later we're not winning anymore. We want to be able to have sustained success throughout the years and hopefully have some repeated championships and bring some more baseball trophies over here at Morris Skittles Field.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Kelvin.
Yes, sir.
So, Jam, looking at baseball this season, and SWAC has a pretty storied history in terms of baseball. Period. But just this year,
It
you
does.
had Alabama State, Southern, and Bethune beat Power 5 schools in Miami, Auburn, and LSU. So that speaks to the talent and quality of SWAC baseball. And then we gave Florida a run for their money pretty good a couple of weeks ago. Had a few hit batters that put extra people on base, and then they hit the long ball. So, but just talk about SWAC baseball in general, the competitiveness, the talent, as a Division I conference.
So a lot of people don't know, like you said, Kelvin, is that the SWAC has a historic alumni with Ricky Weeks, and us bringing in Andre Dawson and Vince Colvin to the conference. Vita Blue from Southern University. There's a bunch of Hall of Fame names that have came through. We play in the Ralph Gar Bill Lucas Classic in Atlanta against Rebling, and listening to all those stories. There's a lot of history and a lot of talent in this conference. And believe it or not, because it's such a big conference too, it's very tough to recruit against other schools. But we have the advantage of being in Florida, being that close to Georgia, Mississippi, than myself coming from Texas, where we can establish a footprint there. We are looking to build on our program and to establish residency in the SWAC. You can see the talent level, especially between FAMU and Bethune being in the championship this year. The talent is there, especially here in Florida. And so we're going to continue to build on our program and hopefully establish some lineage here in the SWAC as far as baseball goes.
What are some things that will help the program in terms of establishing and maintaining a championship culture? What are some things you think the program needs, FAMU specific?
Of course, the financial aspect, you can't disregard that. That's just the world of college athletics. And that's not just baseball, that's football, that's basketball, that's all sports. You're only as good as your financial resources are. But also, too, and this is something that goes without being said, is just support from the alumni, support of our baseball team. And because our baseball program is very historic, like I said, Vince Coleman, Andre Dawson, Marquise Grissom, we have some guys that have been there, done that. And we have a lot of people who are invested in FAMU baseball, but the more the merrier, right? The more people who know and travel and support us financially and just emotionally, it goes a long way for our kids. Our kids feel it, especially when we go to places like Atlanta, where the conference tournament is. We have a huge alumni base there in Atlanta, and people love coming out to watch baseball. That's pretty much it. We have a great program here. We really do.
All right.
Coach, let me ask about the midweek games. Obviously, the midweek games are those games where, recently we played Auburn, we played Florida. You'll get some SECs in there. And those are the games that, we know that what matters is the conference weekends. And playing for a championship, because that's what gets you in the tournament. So I'm curious about, as you work with our pitchers in the midweek games, what is the talk people through, people who don't, we try to explain people coaches' philosophy midweek versus the weekend series. Talk about how you work with the pitchers that are going into those midweek, because it's usually not the guys, it's not the weekend starters. So talk a little bit about how you help those midweek guys, whether it be against the Auburn, against the Florida, just in terms of their preparation and just what goes into that, the challenges of that.
Let me tell you this, Bryan. So it's a lot of people who don't understand baseball. The SWAC is a one bid league. And so in order to make it to the regionals, we have to win our conference tournament. And to win our conference tournament, we typically have to win 4 or 5 games. I think it's 4 actually, just depending on if you go 4-0. So during those midweek competitions, we experiment, I guess you could say. We give those guys who really don't get a lot of attention on the weekends because of the importance of winning those games. We like to give those guys who didn't have the opportunity to get in during the weekend to get in during those times. And it might look bad in the beginning, especially like yesterday when we played Auburn, 11-1. Nobody wants to see that. Especially as an alumni, it's hard for me to lose like that. But let me tell you this: in a sport like baseball, right? Even those situations, opportunities where it looks dim, at the end of the season, where you have to win 4 or 5 games, and you particularly don't have your ace, you don't have your best pitcher, somebody gets hurt. Those are the reasons why we do what we do, because those lumps that we take against Auburn and Florida in the midweeks, they turn into Sundays, they turn into championship Sundays, and they're able to handle the environment. They're able to pitch without any type of fallback. They're able to do what they're trained to do, and their numbers might not look the best. Our numbers might not look the best. The scores might not look the best, but best believe nobody cares if we win a championship or when we win a championship. So.
Yeah. And we saw that last year. I mean, because I think people who hadn't followed us and paid attention were like, whoa, where are these guys coming from? Especially once we got into that third, fourth game, and they were like, who's it? And people I got guys in the media looking at the stats like, well, who is this? His ERA is, I was like, hey, look, don't get fooled by all that, you know? So yeah.
Right. So Bryan, even though I wasn't here last year, I did pay attention heavy because I am an alumni of this program and this university. So I love this school. 2 guys that pitched last night against Auburn, Raylan Wagner and Dallas Tease, both seniors now, but juniors at the time last year, came in and pitched 2 beautiful games after an Alabama State loss. One against Prairie View, and I believe one against Alabama State. And so those moments, those lumps that they took earlier in that year, it built up all for that moment. And guess what? When it mattered the most, that's when they came through. So when you see guys in the box score that might not be the Caleb Grangers of the world, that might not be our best guys, and they deliver, you know why.
Yep. Well said. Well said. Marcus, Kelvin, you got any final questions for Coach?
Nope. Other than this, Jam, he's a veteran, right? He's a veteran and the product of the swag. And so, we got a lot of big series coming up. We got Bethune coming up. We still got Valley again. We got Alabama State on the road. So we got work to do because Bethune is only 1 game behind us still, as well as we've played in the conference. So, but I never worry about these guys. I didn't worry about Jam when he was a pitcher. So just continue what you're doing. I'll be as many games as I can be at, including I'm hoping to make it to Alabama State this year to watch y'all.
Okay.
How about you, Mark? You got anything there for Coach?
No. Pretty much answered all my questions and delighted and well pleased with all of his answers.
Well, hey, Coach, I'm going to give you the last word. Anything you want to share with Rattler Nation? Anybody you want to shout out and say hello to? Want to give you the last word.
No, just thank you guys for the opportunity to talk about family baseball. I know sometimes we might get oversighted, but we have a good ball club down the street. We really do. We believe in our program. Alumni believe in our program, and I'm just hoping that we have a good show out the rest of the year, and hopefully we're able to say we're repeating as Southwestern Athletic champions in 2024 in Atlanta. Thank y'all guys.
Swag champions, baby. Look, there's no coincidence, Coach. We came on the show all geared up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's got the gear on. Yeah. Everybody.
I see it. Yeah, thank y'all guys.
Hey, look, we had the support. We got to support. So I mean, we want y'all to be the first ones to run it back. So we're gonna run it back with y'all. Well, let me see who else. Y'all would be the first one. Well, no, volleyball ran it back. So y'all be the second ones to run it back. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, we'll run it back in the spring, and football run it back in the fall.
There you go. There you go. That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
All right, Coach McCollom, appreciate you. Thanks for your time. Good luck the rest of the season. Great health, and we look forward to many more games. And like I said, we'll keep that picture of the year in our back pocket, and we're going to take a couple of. I feel like we're going to take a couple of awards this year. I mean, but anyway, we'll let the other voters or we'll let them worry about that. But you guys keep doing your thing, and we appreciate you and appreciate everybody on the squad. Say hello to Coach Shoup, and let him know we'll be catching him right before it's time to go to SWAC tournament like we do every year. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all guys for the opportunity.
All right. Thank you, Coach McCollom, Coach Jeremiah McCollom, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate him coming in and joining us. Let's go ahead and take a break. Come back, do a quick recap. Marcus has got some recruiting info to share with us, some football recruiting news, maybe even some other sports as well. Marcus covers it all, so he's not a one sport guy. So he's a multi-talented, multi-versatile. All right, so let's take that break. Come back. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
All right. Again, the glitchiness today on my end is ridiculous right now. Welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Bryan, Marcus, Kelvin here. Make sure to hit the thumbs up or the like button wherever you are watching the show, especially if you appreciated our interview with Lamar Clark and Nayron Jenkins. I just put in the chats for those of you who are on Facebook and YouTube, the link to support Lamar Clark. Remember, Lamar, he's still a few $100s short of his goal. Nayron's already been able to reach his, so we're trying to help Lamar raise the final $800. I think he said that he needs on his end. So that link is there through the FCA, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. That link is there in the chats, and we will retweet it here after the show. So if you're following us maybe on X or watching us on Instagram Live, please make sure you find us on Twitter That's at ONG StrikeZone, and you'll see the link to support. So we appreciate everybody making a small commitment. Whatever you can do, obviously it's appreciated. Thank you for all the comments, great interviews there by everybody. You heard from Coach Jam, Jeremiah McCollom, so we appreciate you guys there. Quick recap again before we get into the recruiting. Baseball won 2 out of 3 over the weekend against Alabama A&M. We won the first 2 games, lost the third on Sunday. And so we have after Sunday, I'm trying to find it here. What's our record after Sunday?
I think it's 20 and 20.
15-3 in conference.
Yeah, 15-3 in conference.
20-20 overall.
Yeah, we had a 2.5 last week's show going into the series. We had a 2.5 game lead over Bethune. That lead is now down to 1 game. Bethune has won 7 in a row, including a midweek game when they beat who was it they beat in the midweek? Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they've won 7 in a row, closed the gap to 1. Who do we have this weekend?
We have JSU on the road.
Yeah, so JSU, who I was talking with Drew about this on Sunday. JSU, it's interesting. They are 9-8, I think, in third or tied for third in the conference, but they have the most wins, I think, of anybody in the SWAC. And I think they're even catching some votes in one of those national writers polls. So this is a big series this weekend in Jackson. We can't sleep on these guys. Who does Bethune have this weekend? You guys got any idea?
Alabama State, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So this is a pivotal series for us. We still have we still have Bethune, but it'll be at home, right? We play Bethune at our place later in the season.
Yes.
Okay. So so we're traveling to Jackson this weekend, and as Coach mentioned, you guys talked about it. We lost to Auburn Tuesday, 11-1. Really one bad inning. I mean, we had an 8-run third or fourth inning. And that's pretty much it. Any other? I didn't see any other no post accolades for the SWAC week. Any thoughts on the baseball weekend?
The third game was we gave up a lot of runs this against Alabama A&M.
I saw that.
We gave up 9, 11, and 9.
Mm-hmm.
We scored. We did score a lot of runs. We scored 17, 11, and 5. And that last game is what I want to talk about because that's the game I made it to. We hit a home run, and it got caught up in the wind, and so there was a guy on first. The batter Joe Pelini. He ran he was running the bases. He was the one that hit the home run, and the guy on first base came. I think it might have been Popple, but he came back because he wasn't sure if it was going to clear the fence or not. And so by the time he cleared the fence, he had ran past the base. So he got called out on a home run. And then we left the bases loaded 2 or 3 innings. So we hit the ball well, even in that last game. We just made some mistakes, some base errors, and didn't finish the game. But one of the games, I think, was the Saturday games. I think we had 4 or 5 hit hit batters, and then once you get guys on base, one good hit, and instead of 1 run, you got 4 runs. So it's just those kind of things. We just got to kind of clean up. But Alabama, man, is a tough team. They're competitive. They do, even though their record's not very good, they do hit the ball well. They just don't have any pitching.
Yeah. And just, I don't know if you guys paid attention over on the west side, Texas Southern has won like 10 straight games. I mean, they took out Southern. They swept them. They played 4. They swept them 4-0. And they've won 10 in a row. They're in first place over in the West. Didn't get a chance. I didn't want to ask Coach about that, and say, hey, Coach, what's going on with those Texas Southern guys on the other side of the conference? But man, I tell you what, they looking good over there.
Hey, when we get there, we got an ace in hole because we got a coach who know the players.
Who knows the players, right? If anything, yes, exactly. So, but it'll be interesting though. Again, to see what happens. So probably two or 3 more series left on the schedule. Is it 2 or 3?
How many more weekends we have?
Right. How many more SWAC weekends?
4.
Oh, so it's still okay. It's still 4, and we have a Jackson State series and a Bethune-Cookman series.
Alabama State, and Valley.
Oh, wow.
Alabama,
okay.
Alabama and Jackson State on the road, Bethune and Valley at home.
All right, so it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. We definitely gotta play our best. Our pitching's got to be on point. So that's something to look out for as far as baseball. I'm sure Jackson State will charge some crazy fee to watch it online if you want to watch it online, but you probably do best to live stat watch it if you can. Quickly, softball. We didn't play a full 3 against Valley. We played 2. I don't know.
Rain out Friday.
Yeah, I guess they're not going to worry about that 3rd game. I hope it doesn't.
No,
they're playing tomorrow, I think, because it popped up. Yeah, popped up yesterday. We were playing a game Thursday, so I'm assuming it was a makeup for the rain out this past weekend.
So we have to travel to Valley.
And
then
Valley is coming to us.
I'm assuming they're on their way to. Maybe they're going to play Bethune. I don't know what their schedule is, but they're coming to Tally. So I'm assuming it's on the way for something.
No.
I think we had to travel to make up a game one time, so they didn't want us to have to do it again. So but if I'm not mistaken, what I was told, I'm checking the schedule now, was that Valley was supposed to be playing Jackson, I thought.
Wow.
Because I talked to the ladies. They were at the baseball game Sunday.
Yeah. So that kind of I'm not gonna lie, that sucks for them. But I mean, if they've got to fly to Florida or drive, I'm assuming they're on the bus.
No, they do play Bethune. They had it wrong.
Okay, I was gonna say that would make the most sense is to say come to Tallahassee and then go on to Bethune. Okay, I would hope that they wouldn't make them come this way and then fly back. The same way I would hope that we wouldn't have to go to Mississippi and then have our home series against Alabama A&M. So just kind of worked out scheduling. So that means the softball gets 4 final games to wrap up the season. So they'll have at home. Exactly. They got a game. So that's a Thursday, 1:00 Eastern first pitch. Mm-hmm. That's the conclusion of the Valley series. And then the final series of the week of the season, regular season, the final home stand. So senior day, the seniors festivities will be on Saturday. We currently have a 16-4 record in conference, 20-17 overall. We are 2 games up on Jackson State. So yeah, we just need a couple more wins, and the regular season East Division is ours.
And we hold a tiebreaker.
Oh well. All right.
So literally we 3 up.
We're 3 up. Exactly. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So hopefully you guys can make it out. Folks who are in town or near Tallahassee, you can get out to Tallahassee. If you're not going to be watching, you can watch on Rattlers Plus, I'm sure. So you can watch there 1 o'clock tomorrow, or make sure to get out to the ballpark Friday night, doubleheader on Saturday. And I believe that's when they'll do the ceremony. So it'll be a last home game for a friend of the program, Naya, and the rest of the seniors. We'll have to. I messed that up. I didn't get a count of our seniors and who they are. But if anybody in the chat, if you've got a listing of who our seniors are outside of Nia Morgan, please let us know so that way we can shout them out here last weekend. Okay, let's get over to recruiting. Marcus has got his slides and everything ready. So let's get into the updates, Marcus, and I'll yield to you, sir.
All right. Well, just a quick recap. I know football's the big thing everyone's worried about, but just a recap. And unfortunately, I think I might have a summary of it.
You want me to pull that up?
Yeah, I think I'm sharing.
Yeah, I see it, so I can pull it up if this is it right here.
Please. Yep.
All right.
So just a quick recap of what we know we have in terms of signees. Not that stuff can't happen and signees back out, especially in this era of the transfer portal. But starting off, we have Caden Bridgman Peterson, a 6'4", 195, 200 wide receiver athlete from Niceville High School. I don't know if they had the season that we typically expect from them like 3 or 4 years ago, but still made it to the playoffs. And he's a four-sport athlete: baseball, basketball, football, and track. So then he's the big guy in the middle. He didn't have I couldn't find an individual signing picture, but he's the one right there in the middle with the black turtleneck and the cross. So you can tell he's like huge.
In the back row, standing up in the middle. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. And so that's one for wide receiver and one in terms of a high school recruit.
I think you got to control it with the arrows.
Yeah, it's not arrowing. There it is. Okay.
There it is.
Next, Landon Bolding. I got a preferred walk-on from Monarch High School. They made it to the 3rd round regional finals this year, as he's a defensive end, tight end. So you see he's about 6'2", 220. So depending on where they see him, we'll see what happens there. He could go defensive end. If he bulks up, he could be a linebacker, depending on his capabilities there.
I think he's a preferred walk-on.
Yes, he is. Acion Cobb, or Ace Cobb, he was one of the transfers that signed in December. And a lot of the folks that have that signed in the FAMU graphic are going to be the ones that we're already familiar with from December. Same with Mancha Edwards, our one signee, I believe, on the defensive line. Thus far, we've had some commitments, but in terms of a signee, an early signee, he's the only one, I believe. Jaden Evans, the big tight end. Talked about that a little bit before. Jeremy Fishkin, another high school player on the offensive line, goes kind of big and hopefully be developmental, develop into some a quality player down the road. Brecken Harrell, defensive tackle that signed late. I don't know, Coach Colsey was gushing about him. Rodney Hill, I left that. That was a remnant. I didn't update that, but he's gone to Arkansas. So we can take that one off. We can put an X on that one. Yeah, I moved that slide. Austin Hooker.
Played in the spring game.
Yes. Quarterback, Jalen Neal, a running back out of Beaufort High School. Actually, athlete. He played DB and running back, but I think the coach sees him as a running back. Amari Johnson, wide receiver, UCF. Max Larson, Thomas Aquinas. And it sounds as though I think either Kelvin or someone was reporting that the ball just jumps off his foot when they saw him kicking in spring game and spring practices.
Yeah, me and Vaughn was talking about it. Yeah.
Yes. So he's a good pickup transfer from Florida State, and he played for STA down in South Florida. So he's got that big time experience. Derek McGee Jr. out of Florida High, an athlete, linebacker, and running back. Daniel Richardson, one of our other quarterbacks, competing for the starting spot, along with Junior Maritovic. Caleb Riley, didn't see a whole lot about that, but I happened to catch this on Instagram when Norland High School program that's a friend of our program, just because by virtue of not only the talent we've got from there, but the AD came on the show in the fall, really right before the SWAC championship game, and he's a former Rattler player. So I caught that. Jamil Sanders was mentioned. I think Nick Dixon mentioned him as a player to watch in the defensive backfield in one of his tweets about the next man up. Demore Tate, much ballyhooed recruit who was a five-star recruit in the class of 2020. Went to Florida State. Now had some injury challenges, and now it's come over to us. And Andrew Tisher, kicker and punter, transferring over from Stetson University. Now, as far as our verbal commits, and this slideshow was made a couple weeks ago, but I don't think we've had any since then. If I did, hopefully I added them. But the verbal commits we've had: linebacker Jerome Nichols from University of Michigan. So once again, I have these listed on the verbal commits because, as you can see, things change in a heartbeat. People change their mind, or sprinkling a few dollar signs in front of them will change their mind for them. But Jerome Nichols, he committed a couple weeks after signing day, and I do have the commitment date in orange in the bottom. These are the commitment graphics. Clyde Pender Jr. along the defensive line. Now, he's been around a bit, but he's from Sefner Armwood High School, so they have a track record there of always having talent and competing at the state championship level or close to it.
He's been in a few schools there, Marcus, by the looks of it.
Yes, North Carolina, University of South Florida. Got a misspelling there. I'll correct that. Then he went to Copiah Lincoln, and then finally, he says he's going to come to us. We'll see if that still remains the case.
Right.
But he committed verbally online at the 22nd of February. So, once again, to kind of help out with the defensive line, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Linebacker Adrian Owens. And I think you'll see a recurring theme, Bryan. A lot of the players, not on this one, but the ones we've offered recently, and I'm not putting up offers. I put that somewhere else because there's so many. You don't want to put time, energy, and effort and putting a whole bunch of graphic stuff for folks that may not come. But you'll see that folks are really taking advantage of the stay, and now it looks like they adopted permanent suspension of the one-time transfer rule, because you'll see some guys that move around 2-3 times. Some might even be on their fourth school. But Adrian Owens, a linebacker. Marquez Bell, a wide receiver. Quay Davis, he verbally committed. Now, we did see a report this weekend that he visited Grambling, so who knows?
Just a visit from what I thought I saw online, that it was just a visit, and that he's still I think somebody had posted that on his Instagram live.
Yeah.
He said he's still in. He's still locked in with FAMU. I guess he just, and hey, go ahead and take a look at what Grambling don't have, and then you go ahead and be okay with what we got. That's so good. Go ahead and take that visit. It's all good.
Jaron Fox, transfer from Valley.
Yeah.
And I did see, I watched another podcast, I want to say Tomorrow Sports Network or something like that, with Coach, I've forgotten the coach's name. He's Coach something. And he mentioned he thought this would be a steal. Coach Walker, yes. And so, we'll see. You see 6'1", 225, and he did play for Valley. So in terms of being competitive, I think they were competitive in games. They may not necessarily have the record to show it, but I think he, along with the young man that transferred, I think in 2022, were probably the stalwarts on defense. And he's from a region. He's from Cordele, Crisp County High School. And they battled in the state championship his senior year. And I think that's the year they lost to Cedar Grove when they had what's that wide receiver? Jaden something, who went to Oklahoma and then hurt his knee and then went to UGA. But he was like a 5-star wide receiver, and they barely lost that game. Carter Johnson, another tight end from Pitt. He's bounced around a little bit.
Big boy.
Yeah, Texas Christian, then Butler Community College, and then Pitt, and now us. And recently, Justin Squire, as I believe a preferred walk-on from Mandarin High School, and they battled in the Class 4A state title game. And so once again, I would imagine he would be developmental. So that's the update, and I have the decommitments here. So we have a lot of names here of folks that pulled their names out or went on, and I'll move Rodney Hill to this section. I don't know if we need to recap that. But I guess a recurring theme, and actually Coach Colsey said something interesting last week on, not necessarily on our show, but at the 220 Club, because I think someone asked that question. So you guys probably caught it as well about the transfers. He said, we're not going for, and I'm paraphrasing, hopefully I'm getting it correct, that we're not throwing offers to the 4 or 5-star guys that are trying to cash in on everything in terms of their name being in the portal, but they're perhaps looking at quality players who may have not gotten the playing time they're looking for. Perhaps someone who's been there a couple years and hasn't broken through, and they're still quality players. He said something to the effect of, we're not going to offer like a number 1 or number 2 wide receiver at University X, but if there's a number 3 or number 4 who's looking for playing time and we think that they're additive and fit the culture of FAMU, they may make an offer. And the recent offers, and I've been updating my little spreadsheet, would kind of fall in line with that, in that we're seeing offers to the areas of depth where we knew we needed it, once again, based on when we did our 2023 season preview last year and we did our roster analysis. We noticed that there was our wide receivers, the linebackers to some degree, and definitely the defensive line were going to be hard hit by attrition after the 2023 season based on the classification of all the players and the 2 deep and the depth at those positions. So there was a conversation I had not had a chance to watch. I watched maybe 30 seconds of the clip of a conversation on another podcast about the defensive line and, what that looks like. But, we talked about that last August, and that defensive line was going to need to be an area of recruitment just because we knew that we had so many redshirt seniors, graduate students, and redshirt juniors who may or may not have been exhausting their eligibility at the end of the 2023 season, and that this year was kind of a championship or bust season based on the construction of the team, especially at key positions. So that and wide receiver we saw were senior heavy in terms of experience and eligibility remaining of the people who were making significant contributions to this year. So the targeted areas, not only in the verbal commitments that we have, but also the signees that we have, makes sense just based on that. So whether Coach Simmons stayed or, wherever if things fell out the way that they did, I don't doubt that our recruiting strategy would have changed. I don't believe our recruiting strategy would have changed just because of where we knew there were going to be some holes and needed for additional talent.
When you guys probably saw the same thing I did when, in terms of mentioning the number of FBS transfers that we've picked up among FCS schools. I think we were the 3rd largest. I think we've got like double digits. I think it was like 11.
11.
Yeah. And somebody else had like, the most was maybe 15. And this was incoming FBS players to FCS programs. We were on that list of having pulled in the most. Now, I know a lot of people are making, and a lot of people are talking noise about the number of guys that have got in the portal. And I don't know, Marcus, do you know of the number of guys that are in the portal? Now, first off, if I'm not mistaken, none of them have technically committed to another school. I see guys getting 15 offers from Division I schools and taking visits to this school and that. Hey, great for them. Great, good. But I don't think anybody has necessarily committed yet among the big names that left or put their name in the portal. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, actually, it's funny you should say that. Allow me
Outside
to.
of Griffey, right? Outside of
Yeah,
Griffey, back in
Griffey,
outside of Griffey, yeah,
and there was
Griffey was
one more.
gone.
And actually, I have a. Give me a quick second.
Griffey left at the end of the semester. He did. Griffey's not part of that group who, right at the beginning of spring practice, that said, "I'm putting my name in the portal." Griffey was gone.
Right. So since January,
There's Griffey
I
and one
don't.
other player. Marquez Phillips. I think he went to Morgan State. I think those are the only two that I've seen physically. I've seen actual commits on social media, and actually, I have a slideshow of that as well. And I'm going to try to present that.
And I guess what I'm
Try
saying
to share
is
that.
a lot of these guys are getting looks. Great. We know they should. I mean, guys who put, whether it be 1 year, 2 years, or 3, and they've been multiple all SWAC players. Heck yeah, they're getting looks from these other schools. Now they hadn't signed yet. And I guess maybe they're all trying to figure out what their role might be at these new schools. Rotational probably, but
Well, I'll add to that, Brian. We finally got a D-line coach. I know we're going to talk about it later.
Yes.
So our staff is kind of filled out. So now they know who's going to be there. I think I saw Chris Sanders, the wide receiver, come out of the portal.
Yeah, the other
today.
day. The other day, yep.
And just as coach and some other folks have been saying, I think you'll see at least 4 or 5 of those kids over the next few days come out of recommit to, hey, I'm not going anywhere. So just remember, they in the portal. They're not gone.
But yeah, add to that, we're not waiting around either, because you see by the number of offers, and I've been trying to follow on social media as much as possible. In terms of the offers that we're making a ton of offers to defensive line. And in fact, one guy I've been keeping an eye on for almost 2.5 years sounds like he's going to be jumping in the portal. He made FAMU his last visit for class of 2022. Christian Miller. Yeah,
yes, sir. I remember.
4-star defensive lineman out of Cedar Grove High School in Decatur, Georgia, or Ellenwood. He tweeted, or somewhere, I guess Hayes Fawcett, one of the guy who turned making graphics into like being a recruiting analyst, reported that probably about 7 o'clock tonight, maybe 6 o'clock, that he was going into the portal. And I've been looking at him, for the last couple of years, was waiting for it, because he hasn't been getting a lot of playing time. So his profile or his career is in alignment with what Coach Cozy spoke about last week at the 220 QB Club, in terms of someone who has talent and someone who may not have gotten the playing time that they were looking for, that they would try to target as far as making an offer. And we'll have to see how things play out in terms of, and there's been at least 2 or 3 other defensive linemen that we offered out of high school who have now received reoffers. So we've made about 3 or 4 reoffers to people that we had relationships with from previous. Now, granted, the staff that was here now is not the staff that was there then, but hopefully there's enough relationships. But I guess I don't know about, the soft in the middle and all that stuff. I mean, that's I take that with two things. One, it was no surprise, because like I said, we previewed our team roster last year, August, in our show, our 2-hour preview show, and knew that we had a lot of people that would be leaving. A defensive line would be a point of emphasis, just to fill the talent that would be leaving because of exhausted eligibility. But the other thing is, doing a roster review or even a team preview at this point is an exercise in futility, because with the way the transfer portal is and with the stay and now the NCAA adopting a permanent but rescinding the one-time transfer rule, excuse me, it makes no sense. You can't preview your team until everybody shows up in August. You don't know what you have. You don't know who's coming in. You don't know who's going to jump in. Well, they did say that the NCAA rule that they authorized last week, that the bombshell was that graduate transfers who up until now had any time to declare jumping in the portal now have to declare during the 2-week window when everybody else does.
Effective
So instead of a
read,
graduate transfer saying over the summer, I feel like leaving, they have to say it in the same 2 weeks when the undergrads do. So they need to declare, I think, to be eligible by the fall, they need to declare by May 1st.
Yes.
So into this window, if they haven't already declared. And also, folks, declaring doesn't necessarily mean that you commit into a team. It just means you're putting your name in that pool. So you can stay in the pool as long as you want, if you can go back to your team, but you need to at least make your intentions known that you want to be included in the portal. But with that said, yes.
I was just gonna say, man, it's shade time. It's shade tree time. Some folks need to worry about their own teams, because they transfer report is jumping like a mug right now.
It's fun to talk about the champ.
Two, if you watch the spring game, it wasn't a whole bunch of scoring, and we helped people out. We didn't even play everybody. So, in number 3, we've lost 2 SWAT games to one opponent over the last 3 seasons.
That's right.
Am I correct on that?
That's accurate.
So, in other words, I don't punch down. Get on my level.
Well said.
Yeah, I'm saying nobody knows what Nobody knows what they have. Well, they know what they have in camp, but in terms of final roster makeup, with all this fluidity, who knows? But I have no doubt that Coach Colsey and Coach Walker, our new defensive line coach, is going to get things in order and get us sufficient enough defensive linemen, either transfers or overlooked signees. We have a couple of high school guys that offers were made to. Plus, we have Brecken Harrell coming in from Chaminade Madonna. He could get early playing time like a Gentle Hunt, who started his freshman year, if he has that same level of talent where they believe he is. So it's all in flux, but that's what they're paid to do.
Look, I know, some of these, I see somebody had posted that there might be guys who haven't committed yet because they're still waiting on their agents to finish their NIL deals. I'm tell you what, you keep waiting on that agent to shape that deal for you, you might miss out on the opportunity, because the train's gonna be pulling off from the station pretty soon, and I'd hate for a guy to miss on an opportunity. It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
So, how many of the guys, how many of them were grad transfers? Like, guys who have already graduated. Do you have that stat? Do you
from last year?
No, of the guys who, the main guys who, outside of the Griffey and Phillips kid, the ones who have been in over the last, I think there's a handful, maybe a half a dozen to 10 of them, maybe.
Almost all of them,
right?
No, I think 1 or 2.
Except Cardell, maybe.
No, Cardell got a degree.
He got his FAM degree. Okay.
Yeah.
Bryan, if you could share that, I don't know. I think I'm sharing it. If you could share this slide.
Hold on, I see it. This one right here. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we go from the top. I think there's the first slide. Yep, that's the first slide. So we could look down this list and see who's grad or not. And I had the recruit type. We can know which ones in the years at FAMU. It doesn't say when they came in, but Marquez Phillips, I'm guessing, based on the number of years he played at Virginia State, and
Yeah,
then at least 2 years,
yeah,
he could likely
he's
a
barely
grad
spent 2
transfer.
years. Yeah.
Michael Townsend is not, because he was came over from Rickards, like class of 2021. I
Yeah.
think same for Rod Williams.
Mhm.
Cezanne Inge, I'm not 100% sure, potentially. And I haven't cross-referenced this versus the list of graduates at the athletics department, so this is all speculation right now. Tevin Griffey is close, probably. Could be a grad transfer.
He's
Chris
not at the
Sanders, I would
time.
say yes. He was class of 2019, and he's the one that in a social media post implies that removed himself in the portal on the 22nd, which was, I believe, Monday. No, I don't see confirmation, but it was cryptic. It didn't commit, but it was like, yeah, come back to something like mission in Atlanta, back to the highest hill or something like that. So that implies it. General Hunt, likely. He probably is likely getting his degree this spring. John Chaney, unsure. He came in 2021, but if he's on the fast track, potentially. Lovey Jenkins, probably. And you see, I have data announced. He's a two-time announcement in the
One time I'm
portal.
going
So
in, then the second time he's going in.
yeah,
Right?
so the second time is probably pretty much a wrap. Alan Smith, I would believe so, because he was class of 2019. We offered him out of high school because he played in Grayson. He graduated a year after
I'm peeping that
after
last
Isaiah
column.
Land.
That's the last column. That's the column that I keep looking at. I'm like, a lot of TBDs there.
Yes.
Interesting.
And so, I'm not following everybody's account. I do get it on retweets from other folks, but I haven't seen any announcements other than Kevin Griffey or Marquez Phillips in terms of where their final landing spot's going to be. Leland Wilhoit, I'd imagine. He's probably
he got his.
Cardell Thomas the same. Sharif Say.
Yeah, he definitely got to have his.
Kareem Burke, no, because he was class of 2022.
Yeah.
Deco Wilson, I don't believe so. I think he was class of 2020 or 2021. He came over from Jacksonville State in Alabama. Zoran Tobe, potentially, because I think he went JUCO, then went to FAU, and then came to us. Anthony Dunn, I'm not sure. I don't believe so.
Nope.
And Trevante Davis, I'm unsure. Potentially, he came from, was it Wayne
He's
State?
back. Yeah, he's
He
back,
came
so.
back, so he removed himself in the portal. Winston Frazier was one of the first to go in. Kobe Gross, I think he had a quick or a tweet or something that implied portal, but then he said something on 12/20. Eric Horn kind of had that transfer portal with the googly eyes.
Yeah.
So I don't know what his status is, but we're assuming there. And Emmett Rhodes and Marco Dubac, two special team players that announced this week or within the last week or so. And both of them were
announced.
Both of them were freshmen or either a JUCO transfer. So I don't believe they have their degrees either.
Now, something that interesting that happened for me, and I haven't bothered this person yet, but I am going to message him later, sometime this week. I see Murray State has offered two of the guys recently.
Who's at Murray State? Why would that happen? Who's at Murray State? Huh?
Smith, leave us alone, Smitty.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah. I mean, that makes sense, though. Get players that are familiar with your system.
No, it's all good. It's all in jest. Hey, he trying to win too.
Yeah.
But I am going to tell him that, though.
Yeah, good. And so, all right. So as the world turns, we wait on the portal announcements. Again, we'll see. This thing keeps very fluid situation, and I think we just have to all just breathe. Don't get baited into the conversations. Everybody has somebody looking to jump in the portal. Every school has it. and who knows? I mean, but it'll be interesting to see what rosters look like come SWAC Media Day, which is in July. Because today I don't, God bless these coaches trying to figure out what their board looks like. And that list that Marcus has, how many names are on that list, Marcus? That looks like a list of about 15 guys.
Oh, it's about 20 plus.
20
At
plus
least
guys.
22. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
And
go back and count.
you've heard Coach say he would love to have each and every one of these guys, each and every one of these guys back. But realistically, probably only about half of them will come back. Yeah. So
you saying there is a chance?
Yeah, there is a chance. There is a chance. I mean, because obviously what everybody's trying to get is we're trying to build that depth. That was one of the things that we talked about our team last year that we really liked is that we are our too deep was first level. I mean, it was
3 deep in a lot of places. Yeah.
Yeah, it was 3 deep in some spots.
Yeah.
So that's what all this is building towards. And it's always interesting when you have the guys who have made a name for themselves that are sort of taking advantage of their opportunities to look out there and see what else is out there for them or try to feel what their market is. But at the same time, every program is trying to continue to build. And so, I don't know. I've stopped worrying about it. I just kind of look at it and chuckle. That's all I really can do at this point.
Yeah, I mean it's the new norm,
Yeah,
it is what it is. They don't need to overreact, whatever.
Yeah, no, and it happens. It's happening in every sport. It's happening in football. It's happening in basketball.
Yeah.
Heck, women's basketball is happening. I mean, if you think about the number of women's basketball players that have jumping around in the SWAC, good Lord.
And these are starters.
Figure that out.
And it's not like it's not all, especially in basketball and in football. I'm seeing just based on, I guess, my feed or whatever I'm interested in when I'm on social media. All the algorithm puts that stuff on my timeline, but it's like, okay, you see dude is a starter at college XYZ in the SEC or the former Pac-12 or the Big Ten, and it's hopping in the portal. And so it's not just players who feel like they're not getting the playing time. Yeah. But I did want to ask 2 things in regards to that. I guess one for us, FAMU specific. For Kelvin, I know that you're really up on some of the NCAA rules and all those type things. And since we're playing in a week 0 game, don't we have to submit like our final roster count or roster names or something at some point early in the fall? But since we're like in August, there seems to be like an annual time you have to submit something. And now we're playing a week 0 game. Does that accelerate it even a week earlier?
So camp will start a week earlier, and there was a rule that limited how many participants you can start off fall camp with. And then the rest of the players came after the week of the first game. That's the way it used to be. I could be wrong, but I think I read somewhere where that particular rule is changing and that you could bring more kids and you can start off with your 105, whatever our roster number is. You can bring everybody to camp. Now I'm not sure, but I know I read that somewhere, so I think they changing that rule. But yeah, our camp will start a week earlier than everybody else, and therefore we will have to manage our roster and get everybody cleared. All that process that happens in June and July. Hopefully for the ones we know returning in May, as soon as the semester's over with. But yeah, we'll need to get all our clearance and compliance stuff in order so that we're only dealing with the late transfers and the summer transfers and so forth. That's where you want to be. But yes, we will have to get started a week earlier.
And I guess you brought that up. That wasn't my second question. It was more of an observation, but it's like, of course I see stuff on social media about people joking back and forth, and I know it's all supposed to be good fun about who's leaving what and what y'all got to say. But at this point in time, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, you got schools who are in the college football playoff, FBS, 8-9 figure budgets, got starters leaving. So of course we're gonna have FAMU's gonna have some leaving. Our primary competition in SWAC is gonna have some leaving because folks are trying to test the market or for whatever reason just want to see what else is out there. So, I don't get involved in all that back and forth. But the point that you brought up a few minutes ago about compliance and everything, what kind of burden is this going to put on the compliance department with the transfer portal being as wide open as it is now, especially if player X can declare, say, I'll put my name in the portal by the May 1st deadline, but I'm not making a decision until sometime later.
So I suspect that part of the reason they put the clause in terms of when, including graduate transfers, when they can transfer, everybody have to be in that window, was to provide a little relief for the schools who trying to manage all this stuff. It can be unmanageable. As people have referred, it is kind of wild west. So it does have an impact. It does require, because you got to remember when kids are transferring, because APR still exists at this point. I believe they're going to do something with that too coming up. Hopefully. But so you got to track the kids who leaving and where they're going, because you need that retention point to make sure they transfer into an eligible program, so you don't get hit on the backside with APR for that student athlete leaving and say they get stuck in this transfer and they not at an NCAA institution at all. You get a hit, you get penalized for that. Currently, the way APR is set up, so yeah, it's more work for. Luckily, we staffed up and they are NCAA certified, like I say. So hopefully they can control what they control, and what they can control is the student athletes who not in the portal, who already did what they need to do in the spring and the fall semester, and go ahead and take care of those kids now as soon as the semester is over with. Then you're going to have those kids who probably got to go to summer school and in order to be fully ready and qualified. So you have to wait till after the summer semester is over for those kids, as well as those transfers who come in. I imagine some of the reasons some of our kids are committed and not signed at this point, the ones come from JUCO or from other schools, is because they had to finish up work at where they are before they can sign and be eligible to sign or to get admitted to the university. So all those things play into it, and but that's just not us. Like y'all say, that's everybody. That's the way the game is now.
I was just thinking, and I don't know if you guys have stopped and had a sense of this. This is, I think, the first spring, and I don't know if every spring football season is going to be like this, but this is the first spring where, and I've listened to a variety of shows across the HBCU diaspora, as my good friend Dr. Cavill would like to call it. We have probably talked more about players coming and going than we've actually talked about the players going through the spring games. I mean, I mean, if you really think about it, there's been maybe a smidgen of talk about returning quarterbacks, teams that are going to have what defensive lines or offensive lines, top returning receivers. And maybe because because there's so much activity that we really can't focus on that. I mean, we really, we've done something to the conversation, or something has happened to the conversation of football this time of year that is no longer about the guys on the field and looking forward to who's going to do what in the fall. We're still, as we pointed out, we're still waiting to see where guys are going to land. Still watching guys get offered.
Yeah, and to your point, Brian, as analysts like we are, and a lot of the other podcasts are, if you have a post-spring game transfer window, the dude you're talking about being the starting quarterback or the key piece returning could be on somebody else's roster before Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So, you know, talking about the transfers or who's landing where, who could potentially land where, not only is it the sexy topic now, but you can't really make a whole commitment as to who's going to be on the team when, I don't know how many, but I'd say 75% of the spring games at Division I will conclude before the second transfer window opens. So you have no idea who's going to put themselves in the portal or who's going to be asked to get asked to be in the portal. So it's like, you know, you can invest in, and I feel, you know, it kind of sucks for, we're glad that we have a podcast, but for any of those traditional magazines like a Lindy's or an Athlon that has to put their publications out by
I follow
June.
Phil Steele. Yeah. I don't know how he does it, man.
Their publications are going to be kindling and fire starters by the time August starts, because all the information, it's going to be a crapshoot as to whether any of the information is still going to be relevant. If they have their printing schedule, they have to get it out to their distributors and the various stores by mid-June.
Yep.
Which is when I've typically seen it, because I've been buying Lindy's, Sporting News, and Athlons for like the last 20 years. Information is half of it's going to be irrelevant. So I don't know what they're going to do, if they're just going to publish an electronic version and revise it, or if they're still going to waste the time, energy, and effort in making a paper copy. But for us, we have the luxury of being able to update the information because we come on some periodic basis, weekly or whatever. But trying to figure out and analyze a team when it could change by X number of players, anywhere from 10 to, from 0 to 50% between now and the start of the season. Now that's a moving target that you can't really knock down. So yeah, who's going to land where is probably the bigger discussion in terms of what's returning, because you don't really know who's going to return for so many different reasons.
Yeah. And that's especially at the FCS level. At the FCS level, that's where it really is challenging. I mean, you can somewhat keep up at the FBS level because you got all these FCS guys looking to upgrade, for lack of a better word,
or cash in,
right? And then you got the guys at the FBS level that have been, that are maybe looking for just more playing time down at the FCS school. So
or cashing in.
Yeah, it just is not. Yeah, I don't know. I know it's the new normal. I know it's something we got to get used to. I just don't think it's great for the conversation of college football, especially in a year where there's so much change happening. So much change in college football is happening this particular year. We're spending more.
Bryan, let me say this. This is for you, us, and everybody out there who watching. When you tired of your job and you want to go to another one, you do, right? All right. Any student who are not pleased with their experience, regular students, they leave the university, they go where they want to go, right? Why would we hold student athletes any different?
I never said anything about holding guys back.
I understand what it looks. I know. I understand because I'm conservative. I like change slow too. I understand what you said. I understand what you said. But man, the kids, this kid should have been had this opportunity. Coaches leave when as soon as they get a better opportunity, or they not happy, or you get fired when you don't win. So I mean, we just making this normal for everybody. So I ain't got no problems with it.
All right. Can we talk about our new defensive line coach while we're still in football mode?
Absolutely.
Casey Walker was announced. Well, the official release came out this afternoon that he joined Coach Colsey's staff as the defensive line coach. Of course, if you listened to the show last week, Coach told you he'd been around. He'd been around even during the spring, if I'm not mistaken, correct? So he's been around. But obviously the announcement last week of our new men's basketball coach kind of trumped the announcement of Coach Walker. Reading from Coach Colsey's quote here, he says, "We are pleased and happy to add Casey Walker to our staff at Florida A&M. Casey has played in the NFL at the Power 5 level and most recently coached at the Group of 5 level. He will bring tremendous understanding to what we do or what we will do on defense, specifically the defensive line. He will also be an efficient and outstanding recruiter, which can only bolster our coaching staff. I will also need him to keep up the standard that our defensive line will be the most dominant group in the SWAC, which will only have our defense as one of the best in the nation." He most recently came to us from Louisiana Tech, where he had been the previous 2 seasons. Before one of the young men that he coached is a young man by the name of Kirby Rose, who was an all-conference USA first team player. He recorded 24 total sacks, 18 of them solo, with 4 tackles for loss and 2 sacks that season. That was in 2022. Prior to La Tech, he was at Texas A&M Commerce for 3 seasons. He was the D-line coach. His group led the Lone Star Conference in sacks per game in 2019. The same group set a defensive 2 playoff record with 10 sacks in a win over Colorado School of Mines. So let's see. In 2021, that Texas A&M Commerce D-line set an NCAA record by recording 10 sacks in the first half of a game. He coached several all-conference performers during his time at Texas A&M Commerce. And then prior to that, let's see, he was at Oklahoma Baptist, also coaching at Garden City Community College and Central Oklahoma. In terms of that college where he went, he was at the University of Oklahoma under Coach Bob Stoops, where he earned his degree, a Bachelor of Arts in Multidisciplinary Studies with a focus on communication. He was born in Dallas, attended Garland High School. He went to the NFL after Oklahoma as a free agent. He signed with the Carolina Panthers, went to the New England Patriots after that, where he won a Super Bowl. In Super Bowl, let me get the numbers here. I think it's 49. XLIX. What is that? 49. Yeah, 49.
I don't remember.
Yes.
Thank you, Marcus. I was like, ooh, I saw the numbers. I was like, Jesus, what is that? So he won a Super Bowl with the Patriots. He also played with the Baltimore Ravens and the Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills. So a young man who's I think he's still young, but coach who's coming in with a lot of credentials. So look, hey, the staff that coaches brought in, the returning and plus the new, just another great compliment to what we have. So we welcome Coach Walker to the family.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good stuff.
And coach is active on social media because I welcomed him to Rattler Nation, and within minutes, he had put a thumbs up or a heart emoji. One of them, I can't remember, but so he's paying attention.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I made sure to follow him as well from our ONG page. So we've got him locked in as well. Any other non-football recruiting news notes you want to mention, Marcus? I saw we had a recent volleyball signee or
Yes,
commitment.
too. Yeah, and thanks to Kelvin for giving me the heads up on both of them. Yeah, Coach Gokon is keeping that thing on the DL because I didn't see anything because we got a transfer. I believe she's from East Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Last week, I want to say Farah. I can remember her last name. I think it's Farah Fadul. Fadul or
Fadul. I think it's Farah Fadul, something like that.
yeah, she
hold on.
came. She's from the Houston area, but she was a freshman at East Carolina. She transferred. Well, she transferred to FAMU, and this was announced last week, probably about this time. I think just ahead of the show.
Farouk.
And
Farah.
Yes,
Farah Farouk.
I apologize for mispronouncing her name. And then today, a couple hours ago, maybe a few hours ago, FAMU Athletics announced we have a transfer of libero from a native of Spain, who I think was on the under-16 Spanish national team.
Mm-hmm.
So those are two folks that are coming in addition to the ones he got under the radar. We got, I think, Alabama State's best player.
Yeah,
I think
From Tallahassee.
she's a Tallahassee
Yep.
native.
Yep.
And I think she was player of the year this past
Yep.
season.
For the swag.
So she came, and then there was another young lady. I don't recall exactly, but there were two transfers that were announced in January. They kind of backfill a little bit, but the two, and I'm not going to try to pronounce the young lady's name who came today.
Tenants Galmez. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I was sitting here in my head trying to figure it out. So I thank you, Kelvin, for putting that out there. Here's the quote from Coach Gokon. What'd you say the first name was again, Kelvin?
Tenon.
Okay, has all the qualities we are looking for in a libero. She can serve, receive at a high level, plays excellent defense, and has led her teams to successful seasons. She will be a great addition to our talented back row players. And as you mentioned, of course, in 2020, she was selected to the under-16 Spain national team as the only libero. And so last season, she was the starting libero for the under-20 Spain national team that won the Western European Volleyball Zonal Association, that's WEVZA, in case you wanted the abbreviations, championship in 2022, and they finished second in 2023. So you got a baller. You got a baller, true. Hey, we've had some great liberos the last 3-4 seasons, is it not? Going back to B Huddy, and then before her, oh man, what was the girl before her? She's Iram Ukar. So I mean, the last 3-4 seasons, I mean, we've had some heck of liberos. Hell of liberos. So if Miss Galmez is gonna, I guess she's gonna come in and challenge for that starting role. I would expect, right?
And actually, I think a couple of recruits we had last year from high school were a libero. I think that's the young lady's name from Alabama. I think she's a libero. She was one of the ones who did a spot last week for the Family Day of Giving.
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely we had some depth. We got some depth. Can I come back to a second? I want to come back and mention while I have it pulled up, and I appreciate Corinthian Morgan, for jumping in and giving me these names. These are the softball players that we believe. Again, this isn't official, but we kind of feel like I feel like it's like 90% official here. So, I mean, especially if Corinthians giving me this information, I feel pretty good about it. And so we know we have 3 grad players on the softball team. Of course, Nia Morgan, friend of the program. Nia is a grad player from Jacksonville. We knew this was her last season. We also have Mia Blasingame from St. Petersburg. We also know this is her last season. So Mia, who's an outfielder. Naomi Jones. This is her 5th year. I think she's a grad if the info, Naomi is an outfielder from Long Beach, Cali.
She transferred in, I believe, from Ole Miss this year.
And I think the other senior, I think this is her last year of eligibility, Amaya Gaynor. I believe Amaya plays second or shortstop. I think which one? Any idea? I think Amaya's I think she's, don't quote me, I think she's second base. She's from Tallahassee. So I believe 4 will be signing off from Veronica Wiggins Field this weekend in their final game at home. Well, at least their final scheduled game at home. So again, to Naya, Mia, Naomi, and Amaya, we salute you and we say thank you for all you given to FAMU. And we are that close to wrapping up a regular season East Division title and are going to go in hot into the SWAC tournament. So you guys make sure you get out to Veronica Wiggins Field. Hell, you can go see him tomorrow at 1:00, or you could go this weekend against Alabama A&M. Shortstop. Thank you, Corinthians. Says Amaya is a shortstop. Okay, I knew it was one of the 2 middle spots. So Amaya is the shortstop. So yeah, and Gaynor, Amaya plays short and third. So there we go. Good job. Appreciate it. What else? Any other news nuggets, info? Interesting. Any of you guys have any interest?
No more One-ish way.
Oh yeah. Doggone it. Where was that story? The city of Tallahassee made a big announcement today. I know we retweeted it. Let's see if I can find it. You put it in the notes. I know you put it in the notes, Kelvin.
Yeah, it's in the scripts. It's on tennis.
Here it is. Yeah, under tennis. Let's see. We don't have to pull up here. The city of Tallahassee and FAMU are going to honor trailblazing tennis legend Althea Gibson. I believe that is going to happen Tuesday, April 30th at the Al Lawson Multipurpose Center at 10 a.m. The city of Tallahassee, I'm reading right here from the press release, the city of Tallahassee will honor the late Florida A&M University alumna Althea Gibson, who broke barriers for Black people and women in tennis and golf by naming a street after her at the direction of the Tallahassee mayor and city commissioners. Althea Gibson Way, formerly One-ish Way, will soon be a reality. As I just mentioned, the city and FAMU will officially unveil an Althea Gibson Way sign at a ceremony Tuesday, April 30th at the Al Lawson Multipurpose Center at 10 a.m. Props to Mayor Daley for for sort of pulling out the spades card and slapping it on the table on some folks and making that happen. That's all I'm gonna say. Props to Mayor Daley. He had to pull the spades card out and slap some fools upside the head with that one. So we'll give him the win and give the city the win on that one. We'll talk on a later episode about some of the things going on in terms of facility improvements around the state of Florida and what's not happening at our university. But that's for another show. Yeah. Any other news and notes that maybe you guys have gotten hit with from social media? Anything you want to quickly bring up before we check out tonight?
No, I think Marcus ready to go.
Getting late. Getting late.
There was some interesting discussion regarding some of the stuff going on with the Florida Attorney General and the whole Florida State ACC thing, but interesting question that my good friend Dex asked me. I'm gonna read this, just throw this out here to kind of wrap up the show. He asked me, do I think FAMU should approach the ACC, take a look at what are each schools getting from anywhere between 65 to 120 million. That's a surplus of 4 to 6 times over. It would be nice to think that.
I'm not sure what I'm trying to glean. What is he trying to get?
All that?
Yeah.
More so, I think it was just a kind of a throw out, just to kind of say, look, with all the chaos going on in the ACC, with that other school in Tallahassee,
let's stop.
Wanting to get out of the conference.
Let's stop.
Why not? Why not us? Why not us?
Because you got an $8 million. Because you got an $8 million budget.
Yeah,
it won't be an $8 million budget if you join the ACC. If you can,
the same reason that
that ain't how it work, Bryan. That ain't how it work.
The same reason when Donald came on last week and he talked about the different tiers of merchandise and deals. We're not in that tier, so we're not getting an ACC invite. If we were already in that tier, we would already be in somebody's Power 5 league.
Yeah, it's
Sunbelt,
man.
At some point.
But I like the swag. I like the swag. I just wish we could get everybody to have the same vision. That's the dream I have. That ain't gonna happen.
The other thing I like,
a Division I HBCU Super Conference. That's the ticket.
Mm-hmm. And now would be the time to do it, because with all the chaos, mayhem, and upheaval, and seemingly everybody willing to, nothing is off the table. If there's a proposal put together for a conference to move up, right now NCAA bylaws don't allow it. You have to be invited by an FBS conference in order for a single team to move up, and I don't think they have provision per se for a whole conference to move up. But that being said, right now it's almost like the Matrix. You can do anything you want. You can just plop this here, plop that there, see if it sticks. So the ACC question probably, right now with all the flux, you can ask the question. The likelihood, never know, probably not. But with everything going on so crazy now, who knows?
I just thought
there's a Group of 5 championship being proposed right now by somebody who has who has some funds behind it. I'm interested to see if that get any traction.
And actually, an article that came out last summer, and I'll send it to you guys. I think I sent it to you last year, but some guy on The Athletic was speculating whether the same folks that basically housed and bought up a lot of the PGA players for that LIV golf tournament, if they're going to do the same thing with private funding for college football with this NIL and everything else. And that was speculation thrown like a dart thrown against the wall last summer. So who knows? In this proposal that got announced today, or at least revealed within the last 24 hours, that some of the other national reporters heard about, sounds very similar to that proposal about private equity funding and investors either underfunding a football playoff at the G5 level and or NIL type stuff. So people
Saudi money. That's what the HBCUs need now, some Saudi money, because apparently that Byron Allen money ain't doing nothing. Oh, let me stop. I said it.
Yeah.
Do you guys care about what the
I don't know if it's them. Hey, hey Bryan, since you threw that shot out there, I don't know if it's them or us though. That's the problem.
Ooh, that's a great question. You got me shaking my.
You gotta think. Yeah, you gotta think that thing through now.
I do. Now I threw that shot out there, but now I'm wondering now, is it them or us? Does anybody care about what the Marching 100's fall band performance schedule is looking like?
I'm sure some folks care, but at 10:51,
Marcus said, "No, not right now. I know." Well said, Marcus. All right, we'll save that for next week's show. Make sure to tune in next week, and we reveal where the Marching 100 will be performing in the fall. And do you like or dislike where they aren't going? That's called a tease, ladies and gentlemen. How about that? That's a tease for next week. All right. That's gonna do it for this show. I'm gonna work on trying to get our basketball coach on the show next week. I got some sources, got some people that I'm gonna try to work on, seeing if I can get him on the show next week so we can hear how his first week or a week or two of recruiting has gone, and try to find out how many guys are sticking around and how many are not. So we'll try to put all that together next week. I'm sure there'll be some new news and something for us to talk about. Hopefully we'll be celebrating a regular season East Division softball title, as well as anytime we can go to Jackson and sweep the Tigers. It'll be a great weekend. It'll be a great show. So tune in next week on the ONG StrikeZone, where hopefully we'll be talking about beating up on some Jackson State Tigers. Just add more fuel to the
mangy
fire.
Tigers, mangy.
He said it, not me. All right, any last words, Marcus?
Hopefully next week I'll have my spreadsheet up to date and I could talk about all these defensive linemen we're offering.
Good deal. Kelvin, any final thoughts?
I know in May, along with closing out baseball, softball, and the spring sports with some of the coaches, we'll start talking about some of the camps, band camp included, but football camp, volleyball camp, everybody's got camps going on in June and July. So we definitely want to, and basketball, Coach Gordon's on. So we definitely want to put that information out and have them come back on.
Make sure to check out the Rattlers Plus special featuring our MVP, Ariana Grizzle. I believe it comes out Friday, 6 o'clock, I think is the release date on Rattlers Plus. Our MVP, my MVP, Ariana Grizzle. And shout out to all the Tauruses. It's your season. It's our season. So let's run with the Bulls. Let's run with the Bulls this weekend or this month, over these next few weeks. And let's enjoy our birthday season. It's Taurus season, baby. If you don't have a Taurus as a friend in your phone, then you're missing out. That's all I'm going to tell you. All right. So for Marcus and Kelvin, again, we want to thank Lamar and Nyron. Hopefully you guys got the chat. One more. Hold on. Let me see if I can post it one more time in here. I'm going to post it one more time. Lamar's link to, let's see, support Lamar Clark. There it is. I'm going to put it in the chat. There's his link. If you missed it earlier, it's in the chat now on Facebook and on YouTube. I saw a couple people had already dropped some donations in, so we thank you. Those of you who had donated, we can get him home by the end of the week, maybe even a couple days sooner, based on your support of our FAMU student athletes. Again, Lamar and Nayron are heading out to Argentina first week in May 4th through the 11th. So keep them in your thoughts and prayers. We appreciate Coach Jeremiah McCollom for joining us as well. And we appreciate his support of the show and coming in and talking to us about baseball. So that's going to do it. Make sure to find the BCSN Pod Zone everywhere you listen and download podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple and Google Podcasts, and more. Just search BCSN Pod Zone, where you can find all the shows that are part of the Black College Sports Network. And that's going to do it for tonight's show. I'm trying to find the button so I can close this out of here. Thanks for watching. Hit the thumbs up and the like button if you haven't already. Things up, Rattlers. Strike hard, strike fast, strike often. Peace out.